Go.
Okay, let's just look at the camera intently. Just burned out.
The Steam Spring Sale is on, and I'm trying to find some good games for my Steam Deck. I play a lot of.
I'm jealous that you have a Steam Deck. I wish I had one.
Dude,
did Adam get that for you?
No, I bought it for myself.
I was just kidding. If Adam got it for you, I'd have one too.
I hemmed and hawed about it for like 2 years. I was like, man, do I really need it? I don't know, man.
They're really cool. I wish I had one. I'd have one if I had the money.
Totally worth it.
100%.
Even I'm only playing like like Vampire Survivors. I play a lot of. I have that one, but I play a lot of similar games that have a similar gameplay loop on it. And it is capable of much, much more. I like to have more than like an hour and a half of battery. So like I don't play a lot of the heavy duty games on it. Like you could play Cyberpunk on the thing. It works. It's totally fine.
I was going to say it has a huge battery too. It's just not big enough for that kind of use, right?
Man. If you're trying to play like these heavy, like Cyberpunk, you'll get like an hour and a half out of the battery. And that's doing your best at like trying to limit stuff. I played Baldur's Gate 3 again, same like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or something. But some of these lower key, more really more indie titles, they get more battery out of it. And so I'm trying to. There's the Steam Spring Sale on right now, and trying to find some.
All right, help my boy Ox find some games that won't eat up his entire battery.
Yeah, man. Just more different indie stuff. Yeah.
Stuff that leans more on the CPU and not the GPU.
Right?
It's funny though, because like laptops are the same deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like this framework laptop will run all day long. If I'm just surfing the web and I'm just like opened up little things and even playing like little flash games and stuff, it doesn't seem to really affect it that much. Yeah. But boy, you pop open something like Cyberpunk on this sumbitch and fans are and it's like you see the gas gauge just go. Yep. It's like you might get like 2.5 hours tops out of the damn thing before it catches fire. And it's driving like an internal GPU and an external GPU at the same time because they do that muxing thing where it's like they use the onboard graphics. And then when it has a more graphically demanding thing, it'll automatically like make the decision to switch. Like AMD has a thing in its driver that does that. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Nvidia doesn't care because Nvidia's like, you're going to use our graphics card for everything. Like there's no reason to save power. The hell with power. Just burn it all. So they don't really care. But like AMD is like, we're going to be a little power conscientious. If you're just going to open Notepad, we're not going to.
Her new memory.
What's that?
Oh, somebody, networking guy said, look up her new memory.
Her new memory? Like HER?
Her new memory. Man, I'm not playing that. Get out of here. I'm not trying to fucking hentai games.
Wait, what's going on? Oh, he's talking about a game. Okay, her new memory, 100%.
Yeah, he says all the indie games I know are of porn.
All right, let me see here. Oh no, this looks good. No, I'd play this. I'd play this.
Getting into that kind of.
I should get this for Xander. He'd like this. My son's 14, going on 15 this month. So he's I should probably get him some of this so he doesn't end up on the hub sites too frequently. Dude, he thinks he's so slick, man. He thinks he's so slick. He doesn't know his daddy can see every damn thing that he can go. I see every site he goes to.
Of course.
So I know exactly what he's doing. I'm like, I know what you're doing. He's like, no, you don't know. I'm not doing nothing. I promise I'm not doing. It's like, whatever, dude. I was your age once. I know exactly what you're doing, brother. Can't fool me.
I try like, and the Steam store is okay. Like it, I go great on deck, and I look through the list, but like, I've already like decided I don't want to play these games on my Steam Deck. A lot of these, or I already have them and already play them. Hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Blue Varo.
Hey, Blue Varo, you're the man. Woo! Woo! Hey, tell me this: does it? Can you plug the thing into a power adapter and it has like enough power to run it continuously? Like, can you plug it into a power adapter and then plug it into like a screen, keyboard, and mouse and use like a desktop computer?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it doesn't require the battery alongside the power adapter to like get. Okay, I was wondering about that.
As long as I think it has to be a 65 watt charger.
Does it come with one, or do you have to buy
it? It does. I lost mine traveling. I think when I was coming back from Mexico, just recently. So I had to buy a couple Anchor ones.
And it's just USB-C, right?
Yep.
Okay.
In fact, you can so it's a Linux machine at the core. It's a twisted form of Debian or Ubuntu, I think. So
I've seen people install Windows on it. Apparently, like you can run Windows on it.
Yeah. Any like laptop dock that at least pushes, like I said, at least I think it's 65 watts. You can hook it up. A buddy of mine actually has his Steam Deck plugged into a computer, like a dock and a TV, and he uses a wireless keyboard and mouse. He plays the thing as if it's just like a computer, like a regular.
I mean, I could see most people using it like as a docked HTPC.
Yeah, 100%. You can totally.
Can't you buy, like, it supports Thunderbolt, right? Like, can you connect a USB-C display?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because I was going to say,
I don't see why not. It's
so if you can use a USB-C, if you can use a USB-C to HDMI cable, then you could just go get one of those docks where it's like USB-C, and then it has like a couple ports on it for like keyboard and mouse, and then it has like a screen port, and then you just dock that sumbitch like a switch.
I've seen people use like those portable monitors, those like 17-inch or 15-inch portable monitors. It's basically just a screen with like a kickstand. I've seen people just plug those in and then with their controller, just so you can have a little bit bigger of a screen. Yep. I have a dock I got from I think it's an Anchor dock. For exactly that purpose. I set it into the dock. I plug the USB thing on the top. It gives me a bunch of USB-A ports, an Ethernet port, and HDMI out, and I plug that to a TV, and then it's all you can hook up a Bluetooth keyboard, mouse, Bluetooth controllers. It is a Linux PC. You can actually even drop to a desktop and install Linux versions of other game launchers. Like I can play. There's a couple more hoops I need to jump through, but I can play Diablo through the Battle.net launcher.
Oh, okay.
You can install the Epic Game Store and play through that.
Well, Networking Guy said it is running Debian, so you can actually run things like Wine too, Debian. Right? So you could run full-on Windows games too.
Yeah, but although you don't have to, because the Proton emulator is so good. There's all kinds of really neat shit.
I've heard that from people.
Cool.
People said that Linux is like it's not 100%. Like there's still a list of games that just don't quite work right with it.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of the Steam library, like the games people care about, seem to work. Like with Proton,
especially through man. Even ones where it says like, oh, it's not Steam Deck verified, like because sometimes the controls are a little weird, or like the resolution is funny. It's like 1200 by 800, so like it doesn't. But if you play it, if you have it all hooked up as if it were like a computer, yeah, you can jump into just about anything and play keyboard and mouse and stuff.
So Proton uses Wine, so it's not actually using emulation. So yeah, it's Wine slash Proton. Did they rename it? Did they rename it Networking Guy? Because I know they used to call it Wine. I haven't heard people say Wine in a long time. Everybody says Proton.
I don't think so. Proton, I think, is Steam's like flavor.
Okay,
it's their wrapper.
Because I was going to say Proton, it looks like Proton works the same way as Wine, where it's basically doing direct API calls. So instead of creating an emulator for the hardware, they're emulating the APIs. So like the API calls. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like so if you call the command to like draw a window in Windows, it has the same API with the same inputs and everything, but it just calls the right stuff. What is it?
Oh yeah, but isn't Arc a flavor of Debian?
Arch Linux, right?
Oh, Arch, whatever.
Arch. I guess
the deck doesn't have Thunderbolt. I guess because it's technically not Thunderbolt.
Wait,
it's USB-C.
Can you run USB-C to HDMI?
Yeah, you don't have the Intel backing for Thunderbolt. But
technically, you just need pass-through on the graphics card, right? And so
really any of those USB-C
type
it
works.
monitors.
Yeah, it does say it works. It might not, but it not.
Okay.
So it'd be like if you had an Intel chip. What does the processor in that? What's the CPU?
I think it's an AMD APU.
Okay, so yeah, I mean Thunderbolt. I know AMD can use Thunderbolt, but it's usually for the CPU graphics that Thunderbolt is used, right? Not the like a standalone GPU.
Okay, my bad. I have very, very limited Linux knowledge.
It does say right here though that your Stream Deck, if you connect it with a standard USB-C to HDMI adapter and you connect it to the Stream Deck's USB-C port, you will be able to show the contents on the screen.
Oh yeah.
It definitely does have a video output.
Technically not Thunderbolt, but it is a USB-C thing. How can you know what that means? Linux user uses Arch.
You know what that means? You could also run you could run VR off of it.
Audio dying?
What? Shouldn't be.
I don't know.
I hear Aux perfectly clearly. So I'd hit F5 if the audio is being weird. It might have cut out just a little bit.
Okay.
Here, let me see. Well, your audio maybe it corrected itself. Maybe it was a little glitch.
And going, it says.
It might have been a little glitch or something. It's weird. I hear you.
Some are saying it works okay. Maybe it was just a weird bump.
It might have been a weird bump because I hear you just fine.
Can you USB out over USB-C like connecting a pair of X-Real glasses? Works really well. Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah, where you put those AR glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, as long as you got a USB-C out, you should be able to connect like the Sony PSVR 2 USB-C or the Quest 3. Yeah, some people are saying that it's fine, and other people are saying it's not. So I think it might be whatever server they're connected to
on the other side.
Yeah, because everything's here clear. I've dropped 0 frames.
YouTube app. That's a mobile thing.
Yeah, try closing it and reopen it. See if you get a different path.
Because like I'm connected to video very well, 4.3 megabits. I mean, that's okay. It could be better, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm looking right at the dashboard on YouTube, and it says excellent connection. So it's very happy with no drop packets or anything like that. Yeah. So, wait, run VR. That's what I like to hear. VR is fucking awesome. VR, right? I love VR. I think VR is horribly underrated, and more people need to try it in its current form. I feel like people got turned off on the tech because they tried it too early. When it still had a lot of, gave you a lot of motion sickness. Hey, Pyro Design, what's up, brother? It's good to see you. I miss you. I miss your face. I still got your fidget spinners, bro. They're around.
I think VR still needs a hook. It's still more of just a gimmick.
Porn.
Even that. Like,
have you tried VR porn
just for porn?
Yes, 100%, all day long, every day. Let me ask you: have you actually tried it?
No.
Okay, so don't knock it till you try it.
I'm not. Oh, I know. I'm not knocking it. I bet it's awesome, but I don't think that's enough of a. It's not enough of a hook for the general population to jump into VR.
No, but I'm saying if you could get the general population, if you get every single person to put on a VR headset and watch like 1 minute of a Wanks VR video, just 1 minute, I bet you that they would leave that store with one if they had the money for it. Like, it is that much of a sale, but the problem is you can't sell it that way on TV. That's the biggest problem, is that to sell it on TV, you always show it, and it's like all you can show is one eyeball. You can't really illustrate how much depth perception you have. You can't really illustrate how smooth things are, what your field of view is. None of those things can be properly conveyed through 2D. Hey, Pele, thank you for the 220 sexes, my man. Woo! Woo! Sexes from Pele! Sexes! Woo! I turned my mic down a little. I just realized it was hot as fuck. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, you were okay to me.
Dude, it was like so freaking hot. I'm looking at her. The bar was just red the whole time I was talking.
Oh, maybe that's why I was cutting out.
It could have been.
You were peaking.
I could have been. Yeah, Pele said, I reinstalled Windows 11. Haven't done it in years. Whoa. What a job with so many programs you have to reinstall. It's so true. But one advantage is that you can clear out programs you no longer use. Yeah, reinstalling is something that I really like to do. I do it about once a year, sometimes more.
This year, I haven't. Yeah.
But the problem is, here's what I do is I always clean install my machine, and then I'm meticulous in how I deploy things and how I set it up, and I basically keep records of like what I'm doing. But then I eventually start getting lazy, and then I start leaving scraps around. I start installing too many Python environments and overlapping a bunch of files and dependencies and shit. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh my god, I don't remember what is where, what's installed, what's not installed. The other day I had AI write me a program to literally go through my app data folder and like classify what things in there. I said, write me an app that goes in there. I love AI now. You just tell it to write code and it just does it. I'm like, write me it was PowerShell script. I said, write me a PowerShell script that searches through my entire user profile, app data, all the hidden folders and everything, and tells me like what is taking up the most space that I'm not using. And it's like, I went through there and I found a ton of folders that had like 100 gigabytes of just garbage temp files sitting in some folder under like app data /something from some GitHub project I ran that downloaded a bunch of AI shit that I deleted a long time ago.
I just use an app called WizTree.
Oh, what is WizTree?
It's a disk space analyzer.
Oh, I haven't even
heard of that. There's another one called WinDirStat. I used to use that
I've heard of that one.
Yep. Same kind of thing. It helps you to visualize what folders and files and stuff are taking up all your space.
Yeah, and I'm gonna install it right now. WizTree, right?
WizTree is faster, a little bit. It probably hardly makes any difference.
Negligible.
Pick your user interface that you like better, really. But both of them, they'll scan a drive and then show you like this cool. It's like this one big green square. That's your downloads folder. This, and this, and it shows you, and you can click and drill down, and it's like, oh, it's that particular file that's so fucking huge, and you can delete that.
That's handy.
You can it's a permanent delete from within their app even, And
this is a pretty sweet looking app. It's all custom UI too. I wonder if it works under like Linux also.
It's like 64 kilobytes or something. That's exaggeration, but it's super tiny. It runs really fast, and it helps you to figure out where stuff is taking up space.
1.66 seconds.
Yeah, done.
And it scanned the entire C drive. It must just be pulling the file allocation table and like translating it.
I don't know. It's
Whoa, it shows.
fast.
Yeah, this is cool. It shows like a graphical heat map of everything down at the bottom of the screen. That's sweet.
Yep. Very cool. And it's really neat because like I've gone through there and like, oh man, I have this folder of like every Dungeons and Dragons source book, and it's like 65 gigabytes. I'm like, oh crap, well, I don't need that. Space Sniffer.
Dude, it found a 133 gigabyte Docker file I don't use anymore.
See? And you can just boop, delete.
Yeah, I'm like looking at it right now. I'm like, okay, what else did it find that's huge? Oh yeah. It found about 20 different LLM models, like all, and it color codes them by their extension too, which is really cool.
Yeah,
dude, this is rad, man. This is like super duper helpful, actually.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fart around with this later for sure.
Open that up and like, oh crap, I'm gonna start fresh though. Here pretty soon. I want to move all my stuff over to an NR200. I think I have the NR200P. Because I bought a 240 mil AIO. From work, and
was that like motherboard or
no all in one cooler, liquid cooler.
All in one cooler. AIO. Okay, yep.
Gonna slap that on my CPU because I think I've been having some thermal issues every once in a while.
You were one time when we were streaming before too.
Yeah, it just dies because it's in a little shoebox. It's in a Sliger case right now and I have just this little rinky dink like 55 millimeter CPU cooler.
Yep.
So I think I'm just going to wipe everything, delete all, like literally just, I'm going to format all my game drives. I'm going to format and reinstall Windows on my main, because actually I think my OS drive is still like an actual SSD, SATA SSD instead of M.2.
Oh God, like old school, like 1500 megabit per second. Right?
Yeah. So I think, and then dig around, I think I have an extra M.2 or something line, or a 2 terabyte one. It does whatever.
Dude, storage is so cheap now. Yeah, like, storage has gotten ridiculously cheap.
I can just buy a couple M.2s from work or something.
Memory is still stupid expensive though, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like DDR5, why is DDR5 so expensive? Was it that much harder to create than DDR4? Is demand just lower or something? Like what's the deal?
I think there was a point where
let me check Newegg's price.
What happened? It was a couple years ago. I think Taiwan got hit by a nasty typhoon or something. It knocked out.
I remember that.
It wiped out one fab completely. Like it.
Yeah, still 128 gig. Like cheapest is like. Oh, actually, 321's not bad.
Yeah.
For four sticks, so 4x32, 321. That's a lot cheaper than when I bought it. But I think I bought it at like the height. That's why I have 98. I have 96.
I think too. A lot of times people they're going to try and shoot for the really high speed stuff. Yeah. And I kind of recommend against that. Just go with the regular JDEC stuff. 4800 is plenty.
$689 for the fast stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, you're really not going to get that much of a difference. Maybe if you're into competitive gaming and shit like that, maybe, but don't really just don't get 48. The 4800 stuff is enough, right? Like,
don't worry, network guy. I don't buy anything from Newegg. Newegg is scummy as shit. I don't fuck with them ever since they got
more places to buy stuff.
I know. I just buy everything on Amazon now because Amazon has the best return policy I've ever seen from any company.
Man, you're supporting fucking Nazis.
I know, man. I am.
I do it too. There's no shame. I'm not. There's no judgment.
No. Like I tell people, it's like I carry an iPhone and I hate Tim Cook and I hate Apple. I hate Apple with a passion. Like I like Google more than Apple, surprisingly, but I still carry an iPhone just because it's what everybody else. The majority of the people I interface with use it, and it's what I'm most used to. But I could easily be converted to Android. Like if one day. Actually, I probably shouldn't say this because if Adam's in here listening, shit's gonna just start showing up on my doorstep. But I'm just saying, like, if the right thing showed up, I could be convinced to switch to Android.
I've been thinking of grabbing one of those Nothing.
Hopefully he's
phones,
not in here.
Actually.
I've heard of Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing looks pretty cool, and some of their peripherals look really neat.
I heard their earbuds suck though. Like they sound like shit, even though they look cool. They sound like shit.
That's what I was interested.
I watched. Who is it? Mr. Who's the Boss?
Does a surplus of RAM create lag? No. Well, what'll create lag is mismatch of speeds.
Mismatch of speeds, and you want to make sure you occupy all the channels.
Not necessarily with the
Oh,
DDR5.
really? Hold up. So what's the DDR5 thing?
If you have just 2 sticks, you'll probably you'll be able to maximize the speed. But as you add more DIMMs, your maximum speed drops.
Somehow I have 96 gig. I don't know how many sticks I bought. I want to say it was 4 though. I want to say
but as always, check your motherboard manual. But yeah, that's a thing. Like if you get into like dual and triple channel, it will lower the maximum effective speed.
So 96 divided by 4. They make 24 gigabyte DIMMs?
Yeah, they're in weird. They don't do powers of 2 anymore.
Oh, that's how you have, strange. That's how I have 96. Yeah. I was wondering how I was able to get 96 gig and not 128.
Yeah, 1 DIMM per channel is best. So
I don't miss it though. I really don't miss it.
Yeah, oftentimes if you can, just use 2 sticks in your machine. If you're on DDR5, that's overall.
I do have 2 sticks. No, I got 48 gig. They're 48 gig sticks. That's right.
Okay,
that's right. Because I remember when I was building it. Can
always buy direct from manufacturers.
Wendell from Level 1 Tech. My boy Wendell. He told me that the DDR5. He was the one that, like you said, he said get 2 sticks, not 4 sticks, because the 4 sticks was cheaper. That's a better way of
putting it. Occupy all your channels, not your slots.
Not your slots.
Yeah. Well. Again, like if you have dual channel, right, that sometimes will still drop your speed when you occupy all the channels.
It depends on the motherboard,
it'll depend on your motherboard and the number of modules it takes to fill the
it also, if I'm not mistaken, it also depends on how many PCI lanes you have to the CPU too, right? How many channels it can access. Is the RAM or the storage that it needs
That's
the
more
PCI
storage.
lanes for?
So that's more storage, because every M.2 is going to take up 4 PCIe lanes.
So that's right, because the CPU doesn't have to be involved in memory anymore because of DMA, the old direct memory access shit through the bus. Okay, so your bus speed determines how fast the memory can talk to the peripherals, obviously, but the bus between the memory and the CPU is where it gets its full bandwidth, the DDR5. And do they have quad channel motherboards? Like, can you get a quad channel motherboard and put 4 sticks in it and benefit from that, or is dual channel like the most?
My gut says yes. My gut says yes. I think there is quad channel, but that'd be like an enterprise or a higher end.
Because that sucks that you got to trade that off. You're like, okay, I want to upgrade. Say I want to upgrade from 96 to like I don't know what's 96 to 96. That'd be what, 189 or something.
So 190,
196, right? 192, I think.
Yeah, there it is.
Is that right? 96. Dude, we should know this thing like by heart. Yeah, 192. We got math.
To do math, I got to write it down.
Right. Well, I didn't go to sleep last night, guys. I've been up since yesterday at 2 p.m. is when I woke up. So I'm a little weird right now. I'm operating on a lot of Adderall and coffee.
Yeah, if you have 4 slots but dual channel, 2 sticks. Yeah.
Because I hate the idea of if you want to upgrade your RAM and you add memory, you effectively slow yourself down. Like you have to pay the price for quantity.
That's why I'm saying don't.
It's minuscule, right?
Don't go for the higher speed stuff. Like it's really not going to make that much of a difference. Like a few percent here. But I mean, some people are just.
Well, we're not talking about speed though. We're talking about going from like using the 2 channels with 2 sticks versus 2 channels with 4 sticks. Yeah. Like how much does the speed impact that at the end of the day? Like can you get faster RAM and then having 4 faster RAMs is faster than 2 slower RAMs?
As you fill up the channels, it slows it down. And eventually you just slow down to 4800.
So you basically have to pay the price. There's no way around paying the price. If you want to max out the RAM in your system, you have to pay with some performance. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But again, it's so minuscule. It's like 5% maybe at maximum.
And DDR5 is already ripping fast,
with only 2 slots. No, look for it's a channels to slots sort of thing. Like but it's triple channel. It supports triple channel. Right.
So I think Adam has a machine with 1 terabyte of RAM in it. Like I don't know if it's DDR5, but I'd imagine it is if it's him. Let's see here. So wait, what is the performance hit on DDR5? DDR5.
Xeon Threadripper with 4 channels, 8 slots, 4 sticks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Wolfstead knows what he's talking about. And I'm glad you're clarifying for me, because like it's a little mixed up in my head. I'm not in production anymore, so I've lost some of the newer knowledge. I hear, in configurations and things, but I appreciate bringing clarity. If you need the RAM, so that's part of it. Like if you need the space, if you need the capacity, the speed isn't going to matter.
Yeah, everything I'm reading here says that it's very minimal. Like it is slower with 4 sticks, but it's so minimal that you're never going to notice the difference outside of a benchmark.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like looking through here, and it said because somebody asked if there's any advantage to 4 DIMMs versus 2 DIMMs, and they're like, you're not going to notice any. You're not even going to notice outside of the benchmark.
Sometimes the aesthetic, right? Like it looks cooler to have all 4 slots with the.
If they're RGBing out, hell yeah, yeah.
Like, dude, I started seeing they sell fake modules. Like this, it'll
they just take power from the slot.
I swear to God,
I gotta look this up.
Actual memory chips on it. It's just to fill the slot.
I gotta
make
see
it
this.
look solid. It's so. I mean, hey, again, whatever, man. You spend $25 to fill the slot and then make your computer look better. Whatever, dude.
Oh my God, this is great. This is great. Light enhancement kits. $37. $83. Let's see here. It's like, okay, $22.
It's goofy, but whatever, man.
Whoa, it's like this is new.
It's like putting a stick-on supercharger scoop.
Dude, I found something interesting. You got to see this. I just found like this really. I know, right? Here, I just found this really crazy thing.
Yeah,
check out this link. I'm putting in chat here.
Oh man,
I just ran across this scrolling through. I can't even believe this exists. This is wild.
An affiliate link, by the way.
It is, of course, it's an affiliate link, dude. I'm not gonna.
Hey, you gotta say.
We live in Trump world. You can just break the law. You can just commit felonies as long as you get money. Yeah, dude, you can put fucking laptop memory in an adapter and put it into your DDR5 and it works.
Oh my God.
How much is laptop memory? I wonder. Here, let's
probably
see.
More expensive. Why
probably right
that?
Here. I know, right? DDR5 SODIMM. Hold on here. SODIMM.
Oh, a 16 core Ryzen.
38 GB. Let's see how much it is.
Hey, thank you, Thomas Lind. Woo.
Okay, 40. Oh no, actually $101. So you could get 96 gig for $200, which is way cheaper than it is for that. But it's gonna be slow. Yeah, like this is 5200 and 4800 instead of 5600, which all the desktop stuff.
4800 is fine. That's JDEC spec. That is the officially approved speed for I think all motherboards right now, all DDR5 motherboards.
Dude, I kind of want to try this, dude. This is so cheap, dude. You can buy 128 gig.
Yeah, but how's it gonna fit? It's wide.
Oh, you think it's too wide for the slots?
There's no filling 4 slots with that.
I don't know. Some DIMMs are pretty thick, brother. Some of those RGB DIMMs are pretty
see it from
fat,
the top,
bro.
I want to see it from the top with
Do they have a top
actually
picture?
Loaded in there.
Let me see if they got a top picture of this thing.
And they got one from the side with it kind of sticking in.
Yeah, they're not showing it on purpose, probably for that. Oh, and they do it. They have it on the outside slot on purpose. I bet you're right. They're too close. Damn it.
You could get 2, or if you tried to fill all 4, it would rub. You know, they
Dude,
might.
I do that just as the conversation started. Somebody pops up in your case and they're white. Why do you have all these laptop SODIMMs sticking off your damn motherboard, bro?
I'm gonna make a ribbon cable for my RAM so
that
I can have the RAM over there.
Over there.
And I talk about slow, right? The RAM's got to communicate over 6 inches or whatever. It'd be.
I have to ask this. Is there any disadvantage to running those ultra long PCIe extension cables?
There must be.
Because I keep thinking, I'm like, I know the bus speed isn't like light speed fast. I know they're not like at the limit of transmission wire speed.
I think that's why they're only so long.
Dude, I saw a guy who put like 20 of them together. Dude, there's a dude I watched on YouTube who put like 20 of them together so he could relocate the GPU like on the other side of the room, like because he wanted to see how many he could do, and he managed to get it.
There'd have to be signal degradation. There would be a latency. There has to be.
I'm curious. Let's see.
I bet you start getting weird artifacts and memory errors, like GPU memory errors, right? And stuff.
Because of power, right? DC power is limited by distance.
Yeah.
So the DC power has to be like the extra resistance. Got to fuck with stuff, right?
Yeah. It's a handful of things. The ribbons are going to be shielded to a point.
Let me see what the longest extension is.
The connector bits would end up there. Yeah, you're introducing a lot of.
There's one that's 200 millimeters. You can buy one that's 200 millimeters.
200 millimeters.
It looks pretty long.
It's 20 centimeters. That's about what, 10 inches?
It's about 10 inches. It looks like.
Maybe less than 10 inches, like 6 to 8 inches.
Okay, 11. I found one that's 11.8 inches.
A foot?
Yeah, bro, almost a foot.
At that point, you've got to be introducing some bit of latency and again, signal degradation. You're going to get like weird memory, if nothing else, latency.
Yeah, it says compatible with PCIe 4.0 riser, compatible with RTX 4090, $30. That's
crazy. A foot.
Yeah, that just seems like a lot to me.
Where are you going with that? Where, like, literally, where is your GPU? Like, my keyboard is probably a little bit more than a foot.
Well, I'm trying to think of what case would use that, right? Like, the only way you'd use that is like a custom case, or if you're running on like a test bench and had it like an external GPU or something. Dude, there are some weird ass connectors and stuff I didn't know they existed. Dude, you can just go on Amazon. You ever go on Amazon looking for something and you end up just finding 20 other things you didn't need that you're just like, oh my God, that exists.
The suggestions are, the customers frequently viewed thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because they just got like crazy stuff, man. So these PCI risers, you can buy ones for PCI 1. You can buy a single 1X slot like riser that's like this tiny little skinny cable, so that you could relocate like a NIC or something to the front of a case if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but I'm just saying like. All
right, that's enough. You're out of here.
Is somebody being a little bitch?
Kinda. I just don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, I just punt him out of here. His name was literally Xi Jinping.
Which is fine, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, you can name yourself whatever you want. It's more the content of.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was saying. So
he's talking about using the UK slang for cigarettes and peas.
Yeah, that'll get you banned real quick here.
And like it was okay the first time you asked, because like whatever, fine, you're just trying to be funny or whatever. But then starting to spam, you're out.
Yeah, that's you overstayed your welcome. You got to go create another account now.
I get that there's different slang and stuff, and like
you can tell when somebody
that.
You can tell when somebody's doing it because they're genuinely curious versus just being a dick, right? He was just being a dick.
3-4 times, you're out.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna. Yeah, that's so weird, man. And somebody had mentioned about mining rigs and stuff, and I guess like I kind of get that because like
it does make sense for a mining rig, but I don't get like a foot. Like a foot still seems like a lot. Huge, like even for a crate.
Yeah. Test bench using risers sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? You're just introducing more points of failure and weirdness that.
Dude, they even have like little like PCB based risers that are like rigid. Like I don't know what the hell you'd use these for.
Like right angles.
No, but like look at this one. Look at this link I'm sending you. It's all it does is just raise the slot by like an inch.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that bizarre? Like it looks like it has like a little white thing on the end. I don't know if that's like interface with the lock on the back of the slot or something.
Yeah,
it is. Okay, it is. Because I'm like, that's weird. Why? What system would you use that on?
Server chassis.
Do some server chassis have like a weird riser or something?
Yeah, you might have to rise it up a little bit to get it to line up with maybe
they got like 90 degree, reverse 90 degree.
Now those make sense because like
well, for cases, right? They have like the different. Yep.
The Silverstone FTZ01 had a 90-degree thing to it, so that everything could fit into about the space of a VCR. It turned it so that instead of the card being this away in the slot, you could go this way, and it stuck out over the opposite side from the motherboard.
As a matter of fact, the case that you built my bedroom HTPC in has that same thing where it's like it goes up and it's like two slots. It goes up off like one slot.
Yeah, it's also
and then it's like two slots. But the motherboard does something weird where it's able to get two full 16X slots. Or is it two
bifurcated? So it'll take the X16 and turn it into two 8s.
How in the hell is my 3080 or my 3080? I have a 3080 in there, and it says
graphics cards don't fully saturate the PCIe 4 or 5 X16 lanes.
Oh,
which you can actually confirm this for yourself at home.
Yeah.
You can cover the back. You can like just with like a sticky note or something, cover the back half of the pins, and you'll barely see any real difference in.
I've heard of that.
There.
I've heard of that.
It might be a little different with more modern graphics cards because there's also the power draw issue. Like more modern graphics cards are going to pull the full 175 watts or whatever from the lane for the PCI slot. I mean, so covering those pins, you might get some weird funny business with 30s, 40s, or 50s, maybe because of the power thing. I don't know, but at least in terms of like data transfer, you don't need half of those pins in the back. Most of them will run at X8 just fine. That's how you get multi GPU setups and still getting like good performance scaling because they don't fully use X16.
I'm gonna have to double check in the bedroom though, because
75. My bad, not 175.
Because I could have swore in the bedroom when I ran CPU-Z, it said that it was at 16x. Like, Nvidia control panel confirmed it.
Or if you don't have something plugged into that second.
Oh, I did. That's what it is. I have nothing plugged into the second slot, so it probably is. Okay, that makes sense.
That's because you can totally bifurcate an X16 slot. You can get little ribbons that'll split them off into two, things like that, and it'll be dual 8 in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but does the motherboard has to support the motherboard has to support it on some level though, right? You can't just like split a PCIe.
There's usually a setting. You'll go into the BIOS and you'll say, oh, your top X16 slot. You turn off bifurcate or you turn on bifurcation and things. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I just found another thing that's really cool.
What headphones am I using? I'm using PC 650s or HD 650s by Sennheiser. Sennheiser. These are now my most expensive headphones.
Yeah, because you didn't buy them. I've got the same pair, and I didn't buy mine. Actually, no, you got a better one than mine. I got the newer. I got the 600s, and you got the 650s, right?
I think mine are just newer. Yeah.
Man, Adam wants me to just lag behind the times, man. No, I'm just kidding. The 600s are badass.
This outrageous. The DAC and these.
I wonder what the difference is
cables.
Actually.
I don't know, man.
I'm curious.
Actually, it made a huge difference. So, it was a couple weeks back. I was talking some mad smack about, I can't hear the difference and blah blah blah. This
yeah, you were doing it wrong,
man. So I spend most of my time listening on like Bluetooth wireless, true wireless Bluetooth. I have one in my ear or whatever, and So this DAC will do Bluetooth, and there's a thing called LDAC, which I don't know. It's like some high bandwidth Bluetooth protocol. I don't know. Had to go into my phone settings and actually like fuss around and turn it on.
I have to use wired connection. I have to use wired connection with iPhone, sadly.
So I did the Bluetooth thing to the DAC, and then I had these headphones plugged in with the fancy cable that I also was gifted. Something about silver, I guess. And holy cow. It was like a slap in the face. And I just listened to like Audible or
There's
podcasts.
No going back. There's no
like
going back. No going back.
Holy moly, man. It was like a slap in the face. And I'm not a decibel nerd. I don't know the vocabulary to describe this experience appropriately, right?
The vocabulary is, oh my fucking God. It is amazing.
I was shocked at the difference. Like, and again, this is not like I ended up signing up.
You can hear
the
separation in sounds. You can hear like the clear separation, and it's not just stereo. You can pick out things in the room, like you're standing there.
Yeah,
it is the weirdest sensation.
I guess the fidelity even of and like Audible's not the best. Okay, this is not high quality sound.
No.
But then
I like Amazon. Amazon Music's my favorite.
Recommended to me to like Amazon Music will have the full like 96K audio and this and that. So I did sign up for a trial just to give it a shot. And holy moly, man. I'm no decibel nerd. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to be like, oh, vinyl's the best or anything like that.
Yep.
I probably am not going to buy again my own super fancy headphones or anything, but to have experienced the difference, like I walked around with that DAC in my pocket, and these goofy things, these cans on my head, listening to stuff, and I'm like, wow.
When you hear lossless, like 192,000 hertz lossless audio through an actual proper amp and headphones,
man,
like even my wife, I showed it to her and she usually doesn't notice the difference on anything. Like I'll show her 8K versus 4K versus 1080p. It's all the same to her, right?
Yeah.
I put on the headphones and let her listen to her music. She was like, oh my God. She could not believe how it sounds.
So I'll acquire episodes of shows that I can't watch in other ways. And I'm used to watching stuff on like a smaller screen. Like my main monitor here is a 32-inch 4K by Samsung. It's nice. It's nice, but it's nothing crazy. No, it's actually, this is really nice.
50-inch or go home.
If I really dived into it, I do not.
Dude, I'm running Vizios. I'm running $500 50-inch Vizios. These things have the color accuracy of a CNC.
Man, so I got a bigger LG. I think it's an LG. LG, big 72. In the living room.
Ooh, I'm jelly.
And
wait, OLED? Is it OLED?
I don't think so. It's not the super fancy. I was trying to convince the lady to get the what was it? The XD or the C1, the C1, 2, 3, 4, one of those.
Yep.
I got the cheaper version of that. There's like a model cheaper or like not as good.
So you probably got like the mini LED backlit or whatever. Like,
something. But when we were watching a show in 1080p and then suddenly a 720p episode pops in there by accident.
Yep.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. On 70-inch, it's not even a contest.
Cow. It's like, why is this like blurred out? Why am I watching this in 1996? What is going on here?
Bro, so I can tell the difference. I have a 74-inch like it's an older TV now. It's like probably 3-4 years old. It's a 74-inch backlit LED, like the backlit LED, which gives you some blooming and stuff. It's not the greatest, but it's super bright. It's like 3,000 nits or something. Like it'll blow your eyeballs through the back of your head, right? It's so crazy. But man, can I tell the difference between 1080p and 4K? Like I can tell you anything that's on the screen. I can immediately tell you without looking at anything if it's 1080p or 4K. That's how much I can tell on a screen that size. On a 50-inch though, it's harder for me to tell. Like on a 50-inch screen, like if I'm sitting back like back here and something comes on, it's 1080p. Half time I don't even notice. Yeah. I'm like, why am I wasting my time at 4K when I could just use less bandwidth and watch the 1080p, right? But man, do I notice on the big one. Network guy said Jerry has access to Plex. Shh, don't tell people that. What are you doing, bro? God, don't out me. God, you're gonna get the Black Hawk helicopters over here. Come on, Nate, be professional. He said Usenet, if I torrent, I get angry emails from my ISP. Oh, I remember. Yeah. I remember the angry emails. Oh, you downloaded a B movie where you're in trouble.
Well, I guess I shouldn't publicize things like that. So
just say 15 years ago. Say 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess it probably was that long ago.
Yeah.
I got like a Call of Duty or something. One of these single player shooters or something.
No, the threats are automated, by the way. You get about 1,000 of them. Here's what happens. I'll tell you what happens because I've had it happen to me like a dozen times now over the years. Okay. But I was doing completely legal things. It was my neighbor logging into my Wi-Fi and doing bad things. Like it's his fault. But every time the ISP walked me through how to put a password on my Wi-Fi so it didn't happen again. And then I buy a new Wi-Fi and it happened all over again. But anyways, my neighbor would always go on there and like download these torrent things. I don't know what they are. He'd be on there and I get an email from my ISP saying, "Oh, you got caught, finger wagging. Here's the name of the BitTorrent. You hit our honeypot server." They don't say that, but they're like, basically you hit a honeypot for a portion of it. Boom, they log your IP address. They send an automated response to your ISP. Then your ISP sends an automated response to you. That's like, you're in trouble. Here's your first warning, second warning, third warning. They turn off this for the ISP that I had at the time. They turn off your internet. So then they say that they won't turn it on until you call their support. You have to call their support and talk to their guy. So you call the number, you wait, you get on the phone, the guy picks up the phone, he's like, "Hey, hi, is this Jerry?" "Yeah, this is Jerry. Hey, you downloaded this movie. It's copyrighted content. You're not allowed to do that.
Prove it.
We're going to have to charge you a $20 fee to turn your modem back on."
Yeah, the reconnect.
Yeah, the reconnect fee. So I'm like, all right, here's your $20. Turn it back on. Forget to use the VPN 6 months later. Oh, it's back off again. All right, here's your $20. Here's your $20. I must have given them like $150 by the end to keep turning my modem back on. They never turned me over to the RIAA or anything like that. Like, dude, what they care about is distribution.
Yeah.
If you're running like a torrent and you're seeding to the internet, then you can get into a lot of trouble. They don't, dude. They going after you is such a waste of money. If they had to go after individuals,
it's insane.
It's a lossless cause. They go after the people distributing because that's how you stop it, right? Is go after the distributors.
Yeah.
Also, it's funny. You have to be really careful these days. I want to make this abundantly clear. Do not pirate shit unless you know what you're doing. Because there are so many viruses, so much malware. You can embed malware in movies now.
Yeah.
You can literally open a movie under like media player, your default media player on your computer, and it will start running arbitrary code.
But that's why I like Usenets over torrents, because like the community that is involved there would tear that stuff apart.
People still do seed it though. I mean, granted, I haven't used Usenet in like 2 years, but back when I did and I had News Robot, like going to download and everything, I'd get so much fucking shit that would set off my malware detector.
Yeah, I haven't had any problem. Even games, which weirds me out a little bit, especially these days, because like EXEs, ISOs, but nah, I haven't.
You leeches not seeding, shame. I don't know, buddy. We're terrible. We're terrible.
Some months ago about that.
We don't want to go to jail, though. We don't want to go to jail.
Yeah, I can see where they might shut your internet off, but then like you're not going to get blacklisted or something. Like
no. The worst thing that'll happen is they'll turn off your internet and refuse to turn it back on. You'll have to have somebody else in the house get a new internet connection or switch your ISP.
Yeah, you put it under somebody else's name.
But you know what you do to avoid all that? You know, there's one simple thing you do to avoid all that. You buy a my NordVPN affiliate link.
That's right.
Is what you do. And then you go into NordVPN settings, and hey, networking guy, you just simmer down and call him your tits, because he hates NordVPN, so he'll start telling everybody to use something else. But no, you use my NordVPN affiliate link, you go into the software, and you say, do not ever allow anything to connect to the internet unless this is connected through a VPN server. It'll basically put a thing in place that won't allow your computer to connect even through the NIC to the internet unless that VPN tunnel is in place. You can also do it for individual programs, which I like. You can literally go in there and say, for this specific program, aka uTorrent or whatever you use, this specific program, only allow it to connect through a VPN. If the VPN connection's interrupted for any reason, just act like the internet's not there. And it works really good. It works really good. But I'm going to tell you the obligatory thing, because I tell everybody, because I'm an honest dude. NordVPN is more expensive than almost every other VPN out there. It's only worth it if you have servers that are close to you that give you like your full pipe. Like, that's why I use them. I have a server. I don't know if they use the same. Yeah, ladies. I don't know if they share the same networking closet, like in Seattle, where Ziply connects to the backbone. I have to do a trace route to figure it out. But when I'm connected to the VPN, I only get one more millisecond ping. It goes from a 3 to a 4. And I get my full pipe. Like, literally no noticeable using Nord links, which is basically just WireGuard. I get no degradation of my. I'm always over 1,000 or what is that? 1,015 Mbps. Which normally without it, I think I get 1,025. It's like negligible. It's like within just a couple of megabit. And every other VPN I use, I cannot get that. So, but again, it depends. This depends on your location. This is a physical location thing. Like your ISP's physical location is what decides in the proximity to the VPN servers. So you get whichever VPN has the servers closest to you. And really the only way to know if they don't publish their servers publicly, which they usually don't, because they don't want like everybody going and grabbing that and add it to their block list. You just have to usually buy it, try it. If it doesn't work, cancel it. And that's why they all have a cancel money back guarantee. Nord has the same thing. I'm curious why Network Guy doesn't like Nord, because he doesn't like paying for things. He wants to use the one that's free. So okay, Networking Guy, go ahead. Say your piece, brother. Tell them about what's it called? Cloudflare. Cloudflare gives a free VPN, but they're not the only ones now. Did you see that even Edge has a VPN built in now?
Huh.
The latest version of
that.
So no, I wouldn't. Dude.
Microsoft's going to turn you in.
Okay, first off, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between VPNs. Some let you change your IP address at will, others do not.
Okay.
So Nord does list their servers publicly. Oh, well, surprisingly, a bunch of them don't get put on the block list. So that's shocking to me that they publish them all publicly and they don't get on the block list. Yeah, because that's one of the reasons I like Nord, is because a lot of things that when I have other VPNs in place, it's like, oh, you've been blocked for using a proxy or whatever. I don't get that with Nord. So Nord also has a weird feature. I have no idea how it works. It's like this DNS. You put in their DNS server. Yeah. They have like this DNS server that they use when you're connected through their tunnel. They use their own DNS server, and their own DNS server does some weird fakery where it says you're coming from a different country, even though your IP address isn't in that country. And it does some weird shit where it's like Netflix will let you watch Netflix with the VPN online without it seeing it as a proxy. But if you don't use their DNS, then it goes, oh, you got a proxy, you can't watch here. It's like some bizarre thing that they have set up. And I guess other VPNs do it too. Like they have they have the VPN has to specifically say that it allows you to watch Netflix through it, because otherwise it won't. Netflix just blocks everybody's VPNs as a proxy.
Oh, weird.
And the way they detect them is they just look at what IPs are being used by multiple different users. And if they see like 30 users coming through a month on the same IP address, then they're like, that's probably a VPN. And then they flag it. So if you don't want your VPN server to be locked, just use residential VPNs. I mean, having your own VPN is the ultimate, right? Like if you really...
I think I have one.
There's a downside, though, to having your own VPN set up.
Half the junk I was given for networking play stuff, I don't even have like really plugged in.
All your
what to do with it.
All your Unify stuff you can create a VPN through Unify VPS. Okay. But here's the thing: you still want a server somewhere else, because creating a VPS out of your house does nothing for you. You want to connect through another computer off-site, right?
Yeah.
So there's places where you can pay $5-10 and just get a server, like just a fractional server with fractional bandwidth. You set up your own VPS and you go through that. And the benefit is, one, it doesn't get flagged as a proxy because you're the only one using it. So it's like your IP address on your thing. But what the downside is if you get that IP banned or you hit some kind of limit with that IP or something, you can't just change it. You can't just flip the IP. You're stuck with that IP. One of the things I like about NordVPN is literally they have a million IPs. Like I can go through my entire lifetime and never fucking hit the same IP twice. Nice. So I'm just like new IP, new IP, new IP. So anytime I go to a site that's like, oh, you've exceeded your daily allowance or whatever for downloading from our site for free, I just go roll IP, refresh, download, and I'm good. Nice. So that I like. But you have to check. You have to make sure that your VPN, you know, how many servers do they allow you to connect through? How easy is it to change your IP address? What features do you have through the software? A lot of VPNs, you know, you can just use what's it called? There's a generic software package you can use in Windows that works with all VPNs. It even works with NordVPN. You can set it up with. You can even have NordVPN on your actual router. Like your Unify router supports it. Like all you have to do is copy some text from NordVPN site that's like the setup script or whatever for the router, and you basically just dump that into the settings on your switch, and it'll connect through NordVPN. But then it's going to get the IP, and anytime you want to change your IP, you basically have to go in and manually through the UI say disconnect and reconnect to get a new IP. Whereas using the client on the computer, you know, up to I think 9 computers or something per account. I've never hit the limit. Where like I use it on my phone, I use it on my computer and everything, and it's like I can just click a button and just get a new IP address anywhere. Network guy said I used Linode. If an IP gets fucked, I can add a new one or duplicate the entire server to a new IP. That's pretty cool. Linode is good stuff. I have heard a lot of people, not just the guy that shall remain nameless because I know networking guy doesn't like him anymore, but Linode is a good provider. Like they're cheap. The prices are more than fair. They make setting up servers like way easy. Like you don't have to be a freaking expert and have to like log in and like reconfigure everything. Like if you just want to bring a specific server online for like a specific task of being a web server or being a DNS server or being a whatever you want, pretty much you can just select it through their UI and they'll build it out for you. Which I like because honestly, I'm not a big Linux guru anymore. I know that comes as a shock to a lot of you guys out there, but I know I'm a fucking poser. Take my nerd card. There was a time where I sucked the Linux dick, but no more. One day I'll get there again, though. One day I will get there again.
Because Bill Gates put a chip in you when you were working for him.
He did. I drank that.
It was in your
Dude,
lunch.
I choked on that Kool-Aid so hard. Like, ask me where Bill Gates' penis was, and I'll show you my throat. Okay, like literally, that's how hardcore of a company man I was up until they fired me. And by fired, I mean laid off. Okay, there's a difference between people tell me I'm fired all the time, and I'm like, stop it. And then I start saying I was fired. No, I was laid off. And you know the difference? They gave me $136,000 to go home and my benefits for a year.
Hey.
They said, don't come to work. Fuck off. Don't come back. And we will give you 136, which was my salary at the time, because they gave me a promotion on my way out. So it actually went from 123, I think, to 136. They gave me a year at my new pay, because I was just promoted 3 days prior to being laid off. And so they gave me and then they gave me full benefits. So I had full medical, full dental, access to MSDN, Microsoft Alumni Program, which I'm still in today. I have to pay for it now, though, but it was free for a year when I left. So they gave me all that benefits and everything when I left. I was the only group in the layoff that got all that. The next group got even less, and the third group got nothing. So of all the groups that they laid off, you wanted to be in that first group. I thought the first group sucked at first. I was angry because I was like, man, they laid me off and there's still all these people there. And then like a couple weeks later, those people got laid off and got way less than I did. And then the next group got laid off after that they dodged the bullet. They're like, yeah, you guys got laid off, but we did. Woo. And then they got laid off and got nothing. They didn't even give them a severance package or nothing. So yeah, so I am very happy that I was, and I know the video I made, I was very angry at the time. And the truth is I'm still angry now. I feel like Microsoft, I feel like I gave my life to that company. I saved that company so much money in my career there that I literally could have just gone home and slept for the next 50 years and they still would have paid me but 10% of what I saved that company. So, and I have the awards to like they literally gave me like gold star awards and hand me a check for $50,000 for saving the company like $50 million. It's like, you're never going to pay me $50 million in my entire career if I work here for the rest of my life. And unless I become an executive and you give me like some kind of stock sharing or whatever, you are not going to give me $50 million. So unless I become the president of the company, you're not giving me $50 million. It's like, yeah, you made a hell of a deal by having me on your team. And then it sucks because I got laid off by a computer. And the reason I know that they were shocked that I got laid off is because I got called at the day after I got laid off by my new manager that I was supposed to report to the day after. He's like, oh shit, you got laid off. He didn't even know. Nobody even told him, or even his boss didn't even know. Fun didn't set up their office. I literally had a $30,000 dev box with 3 brand new screens, new keyboard, ergo up down desk, all set up. Like the budget was spent. I built the whole thing out and got laid off, and I couldn't even get in the building to go get my shit out of there without help. Like, I only had access to building 26 to clean out my primary office. I had to get help to go to my other office to clear out my shit. Like, it was built out and ready for me to move in. Wow. And so I was just on the list, and this thing literally was a computer that just basically, it looked at seniority, how long people were there, and how much they were being paid. And because I was so heavily promoted, and I was recently promoted again, they're like, well, we want to get rid of the highest paid people in this building first and work our way down.
I've heard like the best way to like not get cut is to like jump to different teams and stuff. Like every couple of years, you got to go to some other building, like so you're working on something else. So you need, it like looks like you're new-ish, so you don't get cut. You got to bounce around a lot.
Yep. Ian said, I consider fired if you fucked up something at work, laid off, if the company doesn't have money to employ you anymore. Okay, so you just consider fired anything. Like they let you go, so you're fired. The reason I don't like to use fired is because fired like, means they don't want you because you did something wrong. That's what fired
you broke
means.
Some rules, or you're not productive enough, or
there's
whatever.
also a key distinction.
Laid off, like he said, he's like, okay, hey man, sorry, like business is slow, and like, man, we can't afford to keep you around. That's layoff.
So there is a huge distinction that you do here in the United States if you don't live here is benefits. You only get certain benefits if you're laid off. If you're fired, you don't get those benefits.
Sure.
Like, for instance, if you apply for unemployment, where they give you money while you're looking for another job, if you were fired from your previous job, you are not eligible for some of those benefits. Yeah.
And
I know this because as a hiring manager, I had to actually talk to the unemployment people because they'd call me and say, this person that you laid off is asking for benefits. We're calling to check if they were late, why they were terminated.
Yeah.
And I would have to tell them on the phone, just like the file says, that he was terminated for not showing up to work or he didn't do his job. And then as soon as I did that, they'd say thank you. And the reason why they need to know that is that it determines what benefits they can offer the person.
Yep.
So it does make a big difference. They don't get the same benefits. And I remember this vividly because one of them came after me after I told him that he was fired because he was pissed. He's like, why didn't you just lie to him? I'm like, bro, I had to fire you. You put me in a position where I had to fire you. I'm not going to lie to the goddamn unemployment office when I'm representing Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I could get in a lot of trouble for that. So I'm like, I'm not hanging my neck out there because you decided you didn't want to come to work for 15 days because you were super high. Like, bro, it's like fucking be high at work. Like, nobody cares. Like, just come to work. Be here.
Right. Just get your shit done. I don't give a fuck if you're high.
Microsoft, one of the beauties that one of the things I really like.
Loss accident while you're coding, like,
right?
I don't care.
Every software developer at Microsoft was fucked up, drunk,
100%.
high all the time, Even me when I was there, I was taking oxycodone for my back the whole fucking time I was there. So.
If you go back to like the late '90s, early aughts, and everybody
prescribed,
all
by
of
the way,
software developer, every software developer was at least smoking pot.
At least,
if not doing lines of coke in the break room and doing all kind of craziness.
Dude, people were vaping weed when it was illegal. They had fucking Everclear in their offices and were doing shots in the middle of the day with lunch. Like, it was crazy, man.
I worked at Fry's Electronics. And you had an initial drug test, like to get hired. Whatever. Easy to get around that. It's like the basic P test. Nobody's watching you or nothing. It's not even that strict. And they come around like, oh, some bad numbers or whatever. They come around, oh, we're gonna start doing random drug tests, which they never did. It was just a threat. But I'm like, if you really did that, like 3/4 of the employees would be out.
Microsoft does not do drug testing outside of hiring. Once you're hired, you will never see another drug test again in your life.
And nowadays, most companies don't even bother.
Yep.
They don't even bother. Like they'll just cut you during.
You know what the rules were? You know what the rules of Microsoft? No dress code. No, where I work. Now keep in mind, it depends on where you work. If you work in like the HR building or you work in a publicly facing building, then you have to dress nice and there's rules and stuff. But I worked in a dev building. Okay, this is a building that is not open to the public.
Yeah,
it's where all the grunts work. Okay. Yep. We could wear whatever we want. There was times I literally sat in my office because it was like really hot and the AC was having problems, where I'd be sitting there in my boxers and like a white wife beater Hanes shirt.
Yeah,
just programming my ass off with the door wide open, blasting my music. Nobody cared. As long as the rule was, if you got your work done, it didn't matter what you did.
And I think that's the way it ought to be.
And I loved it. That was one thing I loved about Microsoft.
If you're not customer facing, what does it matter, man?
By the way, it's not that way anymore. That's gone. That's gone with
all that
Satya.
kind of stuff. It's dumb.
Satya Nadella killed it all, though. Like, the culture is not like that anymore. That was the Ballmer culture. When Satya came in, he like cleaned house and fucked everybody over. And then when David Sobieski or whatever fucking came in for a period of time and like made everything dry and made everybody take their liquor out of their office. I was never a big drinker. That was the thing. The worst thing I did when I was there was, take the oxycodone for my back. But again, that was prescribed and I took it for like years and years and years and years. So it really had no effect other than helping my back pain so I could sit there and program for like 8 hours at a time. But the thing was, they did not give a shit what anybody did. If you were drunk, they would actually give you a voucher for a taxi to take you home. Like if you got drunk in the middle of the day and you were smashed, as long as you got your work done and you were like, listen, I'm a little too drunk to drive home, your boss would just be like, oh, here, have a voucher. And they give you two. They give you one to take you home and another one to bring you back the next day so you can get your car. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
And dude, it was such a fucking Wild West. Like there's stories, like I'm going to write a book one day because the shit I saw at Microsoft, a lot of it was definitely not legal.
Love it.
That they just got away with. Like I was there during I won't say I was there during the Wild West days of like the 80s. The 80s and 90s were fucking crazy at Microsoft. Like the stories the old timers told when I was there, like I thought the 2000s were crazy. Like no 90s 80s were crazy. Like, and keep in mind in the 2000s they were still throwing people through walls. People were fist fighting in the middle of meetings and throwing laptops and shit at each other.
Gets arrested for speeding, like arrested. So this has got to be like an 80 and a 35 kind of thing. Yeah. And then is grinning like a goof and just pays his bail in cash from his pocket. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
I watched a guy. I know, no shit. I watched a guy.
Freaking crazy, man.
So Microsoft had a party. When you get close to a release, they have something called the WIM, the Windows Infrastructure Meeting. Okay. And the WIM is a party that's held in Building 26, but all the surrounding buildings and Windows are welcome to come. It's held in the cafeteria because it's a big cafeteria.
All right.
And so the Windows, and I was in 26, so I just went downstairs every Friday. Every Friday, they'd basically bring in kegs, liquor, everything, and they just have a huge fucking kegger down there for everybody's invited. No IDs being checked. All the fucking interns that are like 18 years old are just getting fucking smashed and in the bathroom throwing up and shit. And it's just wild. It's like Wild Wild West. You look at this and you're like, how the fuck are the police not here breaking this up? Like there's underage drinking.
Private property.
It's private property. The police come onto the property and they're like, what can we do to help you? Dude, I watched a guy, no shit. I watched a guy get fucking blasted drunk, go down to the parking garage and get in his fucking Porsche GT3 RS, which was like, at the time, I think it was like a $150,000 car. Now they're like $300,000. He gets in his car and he comes tearing ass out of the parking garage trying to show off, fucking slides through an intersection, hits the curb, rolls the car up a fucking embankment, up into the parking lot, hits a phone pole and like bends it over like this, like or it was a light pole. One of the light poles bends over. This is right in front of Building 26. Fucking Redmond police are there within like 5 minutes, right? The response is instant. Do you think the Redmond police like arrested the driver? Nope. The Redmond police got him out because he was an executive. They got him out and they were like, hey, bro, let's get you a taxi ordered home, brought in a fucking tow truck, put his car on the back of the tow truck, drove it off. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, he's fine. Nobody was hurt. Everything's good. Okay, you guys keep partying. Woo. It was like, and you're just like, that's crazy. Like the police didn't arrest. He literally had a DUI. Technically, the roads at Redmond, even though it's private property, the roads themselves are still Redmond roads. Like they actually have a designation. You can drive on them. Like it's not private property. You can enter into the complex and drive around. So they are roads, right? But dude, we'd have like fucking like auto crosses. Like seriously, we'd like fucking 1 a.m. in the morning. We go there and just like by STI, it'd be like fucking drifting around the parking garage doing like Tokyo drift up the levels. And every once in a while, we'd run into like Microsoft security. And you know what they'd say? They'd say, show me your badge. You pull out your badge. And as long as the color on your badge was blue, they'd just say carry on and leave. As long as you weren't damaging property, like physically, like as long as you weren't hitting like other cars with baseball bats and shit, they left you alone. We were flying like helicopters, racing RC cars, fucking rollerblading, skateboarding, you name it. Like in the parking garage, we did everything you could possibly imagine. Do donuts in our cars, blowing off smoke and smoking up the whole garage. And security wouldn't ever get after you or anything as long as you had a blue badge and they're like, oh, you're a Microsoft full-time, fucking have fun. It was wild, man. It was a weird experience. Like working there was like no other place I'd ever worked in my life. And I do miss it. I genuinely do, but it's not the same company. And it wasn't for the last 2 years I was there. For like the last 2 years I was with the company as Ballmer was like on his way out and Satya Nadella was like just changing everything left and right. Yeah. And you could tell he was going to be the new CEO. It just went to shit. Like it was like they wanted to move to Scrum model. They wanted people to come out of offices and go into cubicles. They wanted to make the environment, and then COVID hit and really fucked everything up. So I'm glad I wasn't there during COVID because COVID was like they sent everybody home. Everybody worked at home. Then the buildings were just empty. So the buildings literally were just ghost town. Like you'd go into work like 1 day a week and you'd never see another human. Like it was that empty in these buildings. And Microsoft's paying for the buildings, paying for the utilities, keeping the servers on. The only people that are on site are the actual networking guys in the labs that need to do stuff when shit disconnects from KVMs or locks up and needs to be fixed. It was wild. It was wild. So a lot of people said that like during COVID, it was an absolute nightmare working there, and even working from home, they didn't like it. Like Microsoft was one of those places you wanted to be there. You didn't want to work from home. Like it made you want to go to work. It was that kind of environment. Let's see here. What do we got here? I've been on those roads. Me and Graham drove those roads. Dude, it's fun. Like the roads on the Redmond campus, I swear like Gates had them made all weird so that there's lots of curves and stuff to like drift around. Because Gates was a car guy. A lot of people don't know that, but Gates was a big car guy.
Yeah, man. He was Porsches and stuff. Heck yeah.
Dude, Bill Gates would pull up to Building 26 for the whim because he'd always make an appearance when he could, right? He'd come in, get up on stage, tell everybody like where we're at with the project, either say we're doing a good job or we're doing a shitty job. This is back when he was more involved with the company, right? And he'd just park his shitty old like 90s armored Lexus, like it was like baby blue, little like old ass Lexus blocky ass vehicle. He'd just pull up to Building 26, open the door and just leave the engine running. Come inside of the building, hang out for like 45 minutes or an hour, just leaving his car out there idling with the door open. Nobody fucked with it. And then when he was done, he'd just walk out. No security around him whatsoever. He didn't have any entourage or anything when he was on the campus. And he'd just walk out and get in his car, close the door, and drive off. The engine be idling the whole time. I never understood why he never shut off his car. I always thought that was really bizarre that he'd just open the door, leave it, and the car just be sitting there going ding, 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 ding for like an hour. And so it's just one of those weird things, right? He'd come by, get out of his car, go talk, go out and get back in the car. I guess he wanted it to be, cold or hot when he got into it. So he just left the engine running. What's a tank of gas to a guy who's the richest man in the world at the time, right?
Yeah, right.
So shit like that was pretty cool. Like you got to see Bill Gates on the regular. You got to see Steve Ballmer. He was around a lot.
I miss the times when when tech people were like so enthused about their thing.
Yeah,
like,
I miss that.
I
do
never
miss that.
forget I think it was like a Christmas party or something like that. Ballmer's up on stage all sweaty as fuck, and he's jumping around. And
Developers.
Love this company. Yeah. I think it was like a 95 or 96 Christmas party or something, and they're like, I
don't know how he didn't die of diabetes, honestly, because he always carried around this like bear thing of honey. Well, and he'd be sucking on that thing like a bottle because his vocal cords were always roached.
I think he made a bit of a turn because I remember when I was working on the campus as a contractor, Orange Badge, working for URS Services. They did the food.
The cafeterias.
All over the campus. Yeah. Yep. Our building served.
I swear we crossed paths. I bet you we crossed paths.
Because
I ate at all the cafeterias, all of them.
And our cafeteria served Building 36, the executive building. And Ballmer, at the time, we made Ballmer's lunch at our cafeteria, and he was eating nothing but like grilled chicken and broccoli.
Yep.
And so I think at some point
he was really unhealthy for a while. Like he was knocking on death's door. And
they were talking about like he would, he was being real more conscious about exercising and things like that. Like he was really trying to take care of himself at that time.
He was right across the hallway from like Lisa Bremmel, too, the HR lady. Yeah. And I know she was even worried about him, and she was always riding him on shit. So I'm sure he cleaned up his act towards the end. He definitely seemed like more happier and healthier. I tried to avoid him most of the time just because it was one of those people you don't really want him to know you. Like up to the president, like I was the people, the highest that I went that I was like close to, where it's like first name basis, I'm the guy you call for everything, was Jim Alchin, who was the president of Windows. And that was as high as I went. I didn't want to go any higher than that because the rumors were around town that if Ballmer and Gates and those guys, the board members, knew who you were, and there was anything wrong with your performance or anything goes wrong or anything like that, they recognize your name, they'll just say fucking can them. Like they are really, really fast and loose with it. Just get them the fuck out of here. Yeesh. Like so I didn't ever want to be like on Gates or Ballmer's radar.
Yeah.
And then after hearing Gates talk, I mean, I literally like sat in at a retirement party I wasn't even supposed to be at because we just barged in and started drinking their liquor and eating their cake. And I sat in a circle with a bunch of people that were standing around Gates, and he's talking about a story about how he like fucking forced a company to sell it to him, and he fucked him over. And next time they shouldn't fuck around; they should take the first deal. I mean, he was cutthroat. The shit he was saying, like it's not the Bill Gates you see publicly. Like the dude literally got a hard on from fucking
Ballmer
people.
Would be the kind of guy to just scream at you.
Yeah, he does.
If you fucked up, like he'd be the guy who'd be slamming. Like he'd bring you into the office, just you and him, and he'd be throwing. He struck me as that kind of guy.
Yep.
Like wicked fun, but I'll blow a fucking hole in the wall, freak out kind of guy.
My friend's wife was his admin. Like my friend Greg, the guy that worked on my team, his wife was his personal admin in the executive building, that stays in the office across the way and like does everything for him, like his personal assistant.
Yeah.
And she said he's pretty intense. Like he's just an intense dude. Like you just have to be willing to accept that one day he's going to be calm and he's going to be collected, and the next day he's just going to be throwing shit around. You're going to be ordering new furniture in the office. Like he's a hothead. He was known as a hothead. And he was one of those guys where he didn't have an indoor voice no matter what. You always knew when he was in the building. He could be like a floor down and on the other side of building 26, and you could hear him talking to people in the hallway. Like he was just a very loud guy. I don't know if he was deaf. I almost think he might be deaf because he always like projected his voice super loud. He was never quiet. I've never heard him whisper. I've never heard him use like a regular voice, even in a meeting. It's like when he's talking, it's like he's yelling. He just yells. And so I thought that was interesting about him. But there was a lot of eccentric people at Microsoft. That's the thing that you just grow accustomed to working there, is you're just used to people. The higher they are, the more eccentricities they have. That's generally what it is. It's very odd to find somebody who's high up on the thing that didn't get there by being a total fucking weirdo that offered some weird skill that nobody else had, right?
Yeah.
So I remember there one of the devs that worked, was he in 26 or 20? He might have been in 27, the building adjacent to me. But he was one of the devs that I had to work with all the time because he was one of the Explorer devs. He worked on Explorer EXE, the shell for Windows at the time. Well, still is the shell for Windows. What am I talking about? And so every once in a while I'd file a bug against him because I'd find something in Explorer, and he'd take it like so personally. And he'd come over to my office and be like, "Oh, it's not my bug, it's the other guy's bug. You need to like transfer to him. He needs to fix his API. It's not me calling. It's his API should do blah blah blah." Everybody's always pushing blame on each other, the developers there, because I think they get, the more bugs they have to fix, the more trouble they get into or whatever. So he'd always come over and give me a hard time and come over on purpose. And I swear to God, every time he came to my office, I thought he was going to kill me because he wore literally like a black trench coat like Neo and wore sunglasses indoor. So this dude would, and he drove a Ferrari too. He had a Ferrari 360 Medina Spider that I used to think was the most amazing thing ever. I always see him pulling into the parking garage with this car, and I'd be like, "Holy shit, that's badass!" It was like this like deep red burgundy almost 360, and I'm like, the dude's only in his 20s. Like he was younger than me at the time. And dude would come to my office every single time. I've never seen this guy without a trench coat and glasses on. Doesn't matter if it's hot outside. Doesn't matter if it's cold outside. I look out my window and see him walking along the sidewalk. I'm like, "Oh shit, he's probably coming to see me." And bro just have like this freaking trench. He was like the trench coat mafia. I was like, dude, this guy's going to come in here and start blasting. Like, there was just those weird, he had painted black nails. I'm not saying that's like a bad thing. I'm just saying it's just interesting that the developers all have these weird eccentricities. Like, but the majority of them were like me, like where it was like D&D, rocking a rat tail, wearing sweatpants. But we'd always fight with each other. That was the thing that I liked about Microsoft, is it forced you to like work hard because you always wanted to be better than the other guy trying to be better than you. So you always felt in competition with everybody within your organization. And you kind of were with the performance ranking, the performance stacking shit. So like you couldn't just focus on what you were doing. You had to focus on what everybody else was doing and make sure that what you were doing was more important than what they were doing, and make sure that the management knows it's more important than what they're doing. But they're doing the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing. They all know the game. So it's like there was times where I just go to work and I just live there. Like before my wife and I started dating, there's many times where I just work into the night, be like 12 o'clock, and I just go lay on the floor under my desk and just take a nap. Right? Stick my coat under my head and just take like a little 3-hour nap, wake up and get right back after it. There was times where I'd go home on the weekend and I'd just log in remotely because we had our smart cards that we could plug into a smart card reader and like do remote access to the full corporate network. Oh yeah. And it'd be like you were there, right? You could anything you could control. And so, I'd be sitting at home, blow my entire weekend from the moment I wake up, the moment I go sleep, not playing video games. And I'd be just sitting there working on my project so that I could come in on Monday and hope that the other guys didn't do the same and I could get a jump on them. It was a very competitive environment. But the thing I liked about that is I always felt like I was engaged. I never felt like I was bored for the most part. Like I'd say 13 of the 15 years I was there was no such thing as boredom. Every single thing you were doing had some level of intensity to it. And you were interested in it. Like that was the thing. Everything you were doing, you were acutely interested in. Like, because it wasn't just like, go open up this manual and, transcribe this, Orange Book or Standard or whatever into some API or something. No, it wasn't like that. It was like, they'd come in your room and be like, how can we take this room full of 1,500 computers and make it do double the work it's doing now? Go. And it's like, you're just blank slate. You're like, oh shit, I better start designing and start pitching ideas. Then you go to the meeting and you pitch your idea. The rest of the team pitches their ideas. Whichever ideas are best, they merge those people together. Boom, you're a little microcosm team. Go do your thing.
Dang.
And dude, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I genuinely do miss it. Yeah. I really do. I don't feel like I have that same engagement now in my life, because it's like when you're your own boss, you have to, like, back when I was making tons of videos on YouTube and I was doing all that before my back completely fucked me and my nerves fucked me. I had to motivate myself. I had to wake up every day and be like, what am I going to do with no outside like help? I'd just be like, what am I going to do today? How am I going to make it interesting? Put it together, edit it, and then it's like from the time you wake up, the time you go to sleep, you're pretty much just working nonstop. Like there was times where to release 3 videos a week, I was, from the moment I woke up, the moment I go to sleep, I wouldn't come out of this room except for to take a piss and go to sleep. Jeez. That's it. And you burn out doing that, like really, really fast. But you start getting to the point where you don't really enjoy it. It's like you're doing cool shit. It's like you're like, wow, I have this really fucking cool like $5,000 gizmo that a company just sent me for free just to like try it out and show people how cool it is. Yeah. You know? And I'd be like so burned out that I couldn't even enjoy it. I was just like, oh man, like I can't do this right now. Like my brain's not in it. But I'd have to like force my way through it, and then I'd eventually like get into it, right? And I'd start getting going. But like getting that initial thing going was a lot harder than having a manager where your manager's like, hey, listen, there's one promo for the 3 of you guys, and you got to fight over it. Who's going to come up with the best thing where you get the promo and I have to screw the other 2? And so that would really light a fire under your ass, and then you'd start really thinking outside of the box and trying to find every little shortcut and advantage you could get. And that led to some really cool shit. Like, I'm really proud of a lot of the stuff I wrote. A lot of the code I wrote when I was at Microsoft, if I read the code today, I'd be like, how the fuck did I do that? Like, I wouldn't even recognize it, dude. Seriously. Like, I'm so disconnected because I spent so long, like, doing the YouTube thing after I left Microsoft. I mean, it's so long ago. It's, what, 2015? So here we are, 10 years? I mean, 10 years has passed. Since it feels like it was last month that I got laid off, but 10 years has passed. And I don't have the same technical proficiency that I did back then. Like back then I knew how to do everything in Windows, like every single thing you can think of, even the things you can't think of, I could do from the command line. There was nothing I couldn't do from the command line. It did not matter. Like there was nothing in the UI that I could not do the same thing through the command line. I could do it faster through the command line. Didn't matter if it was adding 20 parameters. I could type 139 words per minute continuously, that including special characters. That wasn't just words. I could do that with special characters back in the day before my hands started getting all arthritic. But I fucking loved it. I thought it was cool that I just had that wealth of knowledge. And a lot of that you pick up just from working there, right? For working there for years and years and years. You learn all this insider shit that just people outside of Microsoft don't know. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that has eroded because I've just become so accustomed as new operating systems come out since I'm gone. Like Windows 8 was the last one I released. Windows 8, and then I worked on Windows 8.1 and did a little bit of work on Windows 10 before I was laid off, but it was like early alpha of Windows 10. So like the early beginnings. And so now the whole UI has changed. There's all new sets of commands. Now PowerShell is like this big important thing when PowerShell was still relatively new when I was there. .NET Framework, I think, was like at 3.5 when I left. Now it's like .NET fucking 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. It's like now it's cross-platform. Back then it was just Windows. So it's like so much has changed, and I feel like I haven't really kept pace with it. So I need something. Like my wife said, she said, you should just pay your old boss. She's joking because we have no money. We're broke right now. But she's like, you should pay your old boss because he's still working at Microsoft as a contractor. He left as a full-time when they laid him off also, but then he went back as a contractor. I refused to. I'm like, she said, just pay him. He always motivated you. Like he always knew what to say and he knew how to play to your strengths. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I wish I could find another person that's like that like knows me like my boss Bruce did. And he knows exactly what to say to make anything interesting and anything a challenge to where I can't think about anything else. Yeah. He was so good at doing that, man. Like, I can't stress how important managers are. Mm-hmm. Like, if you have a shitty manager, fucking just give up. You are not going to win in an environment if you have a shitty manager that's not giving you proper guidance and isn't motivating you. My manager, when I did shit wrong, he'd kick the door open and scream at me. That was the Microsoft culture. I literally cried. My boss made me cry twice. And you're like, oh, God, why would you like this guy? Because I really fucked up. I really let him down. I promised him shit. He was like, you have to be sure. And I'm like, I'm 100% sure. And I wasn't 100% sure. And I fucked up and I paid for it. Right. But the reason I was upset is because his approval meant something to me, because he'd always fought for me. He's always made sure that I got to do the things that I wanted to do and made sure that I got the recognition for the stuff that I did, not other people stealing it, which is really common at Microsoft. A lot of managers will just steal credit for people's work. And so he always made sure that I was front and center and that my credit was showcased. He would never represent my work without me present. Nice. And so I love that about him. And he'd always come in my office and he'd be like, hey, I was just in a meeting this morning and they said that this is impossible. He'd always do this because he knew that if something was impossible, it interests me because I'm like, nothing's impossible. If you tell me something's impossible, I'll bend over backwards and kill myself to prove it's not. And 99% of the time I was right, but there's 1% I wasn't. But he'd come in and he'd be like, oh, they said that this is impossible. Their dev said that they're not going to be able to make it happen. So we got to go back to this old thing that's like slow and everything. I was like, fuck that noise. We'd pull up the whiteboard, close the door, and just sit there and brainstorm for like 30 minutes, drawing up a flow chart on the whiteboard. And then he'd be like, how long will it take you to build a prototype or whatever? And I'll be like, have it done by Monday. Like, I literally would go home and just crank on it, come back on Monday and present that shit, and everybody would just be like, whoa. Like, our dev said that wasn't possible, and you're doing it. And then they'd be like, normally the process then would be to go refine it and bring it up to speed. But they'd be like, no, just deploy it as is. They're like, it fucking works, right? They're like, they don't give a shit if it's all broken. They'll go through a code review and tell you everything that's wrong with it that they do different. But they tell you don't break it. If it works, don't touch it. Just deploy it. Like a couple extra cycles, Microsoft didn't care about optimization like that. They were just like, we will buy a faster computer and we will install more RAM. Just don't fuck with the code. Don't do anything to make it more complicated than it has to be or more unstable. They would much rather spend resources on hardware than to optimize the software because optimizing software leads to bugs. It really does. James Janus said, you find another person like that, it's called your old therapist. Oh, I miss my therapist so much, man. She got a traumatic brain injury and had to go into retirement. God, I miss her. I miss her so much, man. She was rad. Her name was Stacy. She was freaking awesome. She referred me to her husband because her husband's also a therapist. Isn't that funny? Like, she married another therapist and they both work for the same therapy outfit.
Right on.
So she said that she thinks that I would click with him. Yeah. And I just haven't had the guts to, like, because it took me so long to find a therapist I trust. I have a lot of trauma in my past from therapists and counselors. So it took a long time for me to click with Stacy. And the reason I clicked with her is because she came highly recommended from a friend of mine who's a lot like me. And it clicked and it worked. And that was after, like, I tried 4 or 5 other therapists and just gave up after that point. And this is for talk therapy. And so I've been kind of weary of trying out the husband. And plus, we haven't had a lot of money. But the truth is, it's cheap. Like, they literally only charge me $20 an hour.
Wow.
Because the insurance pays them, like, I think the insurance pays them like 20 or 30 on top of the money that I give them. But still, that's way less. Like, most therapists charge over 100 an hour, like 100 to 150 for a good therapist. Dude, yeah, so the fact that I can get one for like, $20 out of pocket for like an hour, it's a steal. So I really need to start doing it again.
Do it right now. Call him right now.
I think I might actually.
No, I'm
not gonna do it right now on the stream. But no. Why not? Dude, therapy is a highly personal thing, bro.
No, just highly personal. Just say, hey, man. You can meet.
Well, I gotta go find his information. I gotta message Stacy and find the email.
Sounds like a lot of excuses.
Ride my ass. Okay.
Jerry.
Hey, Aux, I'm saying it right now on Tech Talk in front of everybody. Ride my ass. If by next week I don't at least have an appointment set up, because sometimes they're booked out always,
I'm gonna come over and poop on your porch.
You can come over and poop on my porch if I don't have an appointment set up.
That's right.
So, because I think he'll be fine. I mean, it's literally the spouse of the therapist I clicked with, and she said that she'd help where she could.
I'll do it live on stream.
You gonna come over and take a shit on Deborah's desk?
I'll be on my own Twitch stream and say, okay, guys, here we go.
Just come over here, just give me the old creamery treatment. Give me give me the Dairy Queen. Shit, we got 246 people in here, man. Our clickbait ass topic worked, brother.
Good.
That's AI, man. People are like, hey, what's the AI thing in the title? The AI thing is the thing that made the title that got you in here.
That's right.
All I did was says AI. We have a show where we talk about tech and AI. Give me a title that's clickbaity as fuck, and that's when it crapped out.
About half of them are AI.
So, what do I think about AI talk therapy? Slippery slope, but also useful. As long as you understand it's an AI and you understand its limitations and you don't start seeing it as a person, I think it can give you interesting advice if it's the right AI trained on the right stuff.
I would almost not want to know. You know what I mean? I'd almost not want to know. I
don't trust it enough to just think it's a human, because I think I'd give a human more implicit trust. That's what I'm worried about.
I think that's what I mean. Is like, if I know that I'm just talking to a robot, I don't think that it would the advice or whatever wouldn't hit the same.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
Because like a big part of the problem I have, not that I have much experience with like therapy and stuff. I'm self-aware enough to where like I almost know what they're gonna tell me to do. You know, like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
All right,
I feel you about
try
the manager thing too, though, man. I miss my old boss quite a lot, because like they had such a great way of turning complaints into like action items, like and like listening to, like the rant of it, like let you get those emotions out.
That's the important part, yeah.
And then was able to like, okay, yeah, I hear you. That totally makes sense. And like, and then okay, this is what I need you to do. Then this is what needs to happen.
AI is really good for that. Like AI is actually like, put the therapy part aside, right? Yeah. Have a conversation to rant at the AI, but then also ask the AI to like to structure things so it's easier for you to do and motivate you. If you say, hey, AI, I need motivation to do this thing and I need it broken down, you can have a conversation with the AI and adjust its context so that it learns more about you. Like, for instance, one thing I haven't tried yet is why don't I just take my entire closed caption text from every video I've ever made, downloaded. I used FFmpeg and, of course, an AI-created Python script and downloaded every text from every video I've ever made in English.
Nice.
I'm like, I can take that and train it in to a LoRa model that I load on top of like DeepSeek R1 or something, right? I can load that on my computer, then train my model on all those YouTube videos, which would then get kind of an idea of what my character is, right? And like, my things I think are funny and not funny, like what I like, what I dislike. It can figure a lot of that out especially my Patreon videos, my hidden Patreon videos that are only available. They're all unlisted or whatever. If I trained it on that would be a lot more personal stuff that I talk about. So let's say I train it on all that. Now I could go in and say, listen, you know who I am from all the stuff that you studied me. Like, how do you think I should proceed with these 5 objectives that I have? Things that I want to do, whether it's like lose weight, deal with my back pain, come up with a curriculum that you think would work for me based on all the training that you have on me. I think you could actually do something interesting, and then you go back and forth, tweak it, negotiate. Yeah. Try to figure things out. And then as it gets to know you, I think that you could get it dialed in to where it could hit that nerve to like set things up so that they're achievable and you feel like you're making steady progress. Because that's the other thing. As a developer, I have OCD, by the way. If you guys didn't know, OCD is one of my diagnosed things. I have it's a minor depression. This is years ago. It's increased quite a bit. But it was minor depression, moderate OCD, and rage and ADHD. They didn't call it rage, and they just call it like advanced or whatever, but rage and ADHD. So my OCD made it to where, as a developer, I always had to have a functioning piece of code before I could walk away. So a lot of developers can just blindly write a bunch of APIs and like write half the APIs to a class or an object and then just walk away and come back and finish it later. I cannot. Whatever I am writing has to have some functional state where you can run that code and observe that code do something when I walk away at every step. So if I'm only halfway through writing like an API and I got 2 more APIs to write before that object can be loaded and used, I will just stay overtime or work on it from home because I cannot break my mind away from work unless I know I leave a unit of functioning code. And apparently this is common with a lot of developers. Like, a lot of developers have this problem. Not all of them, but it is common. And OCD, it makes this so much worse. And so when you're working on really complicated projects, like one of my biggest projects I ever worked on at Microsoft was an automation harness called Drive UI. Okay. And yeah, we called it DUI, like driving under the influence. They didn't like that, but we kept the name. We had to change it from DUI EXE to Drive UI EXE to make management happy. But it was one of the hardest things I ever did because it took so many different automation harnesses that all had like little special things that they could do, and then created these proxy layers that allowed them to talk to each other. Basically, it created common interfaces that took all these very uncommon things and made them work together and act together and feel like the same cohesive thing. And we created basically our own language, like our own XML-based language for automating things. But it required you to write literally thousands of lines of code to create a functional unit that could load into it successfully and work. And so that was probably one of the hardest things that I had to deal with, because I'd come in the morning, program, 30,000 lines of code, and I still wouldn't quite be there, even though the workday is done and I need to get home or have an appointment somewhere. And it would drive me freaking nuts. I could not break my mind away from it. I'd go home, second I could, plug in my card key, log into the corporate network, boom, logged into my computer through Microsoft Terminal server, and just going at it, trying to get it. And then once I get to that point where I can get the damn thing to load without crashing and do something, I'm like, okay, we're good. I can leave it there. And then I check in my code for the day. But I never checked in broken code. Like, all my code, my entire career I worked at Microsoft, everything I checked in was in intervals of functioning code. I never checked in something that was like half-assed or half put together, or like missing functionality. Like the functionality may not be fully implemented, but I'd put enough of the code there as a proxy or a stub that it would actually work and do something and not break the overall project. So my OCD has gotten a lot worse over the years, and that's the reason why I don't do a lot of coding anymore, is because I don't have that same knowledge that I once had. AI helps with this a lot, by the way, but I don't have that same knowledge. I don't have MSDN like I used to, that I could just go look up any API and look up all the examples, pull the code. But I have GitHub now, which is even better, honestly, if you think about it. And in those references, I was so efficient at going through those references and looking at everything and finding exactly what I needed, that I never got slowed down. I was just always code. If I ran across something I couldn't do, boom, I could learn it within 15 minutes and I was on it. AI allows me to do that again. So I really should get back to it, using AI as my replacement to MSDN, essentially, and GitHub as my replacement for the MSDN code repository and what do they call it, Source Depot within Microsoft. And if I did that, God, I could get back to like writing code like a fiend. And I've got friends that want to hire me. Like, that's the thing. Like I said, you know, I may go back to a day job at some point. I may have to, because like I said, my future's undecided right now.
I say even start just a little part-time even.
I'm thinking about it. My buddy just made chief financial officer at a company. I can't name the company, obviously, but he just became the chief financial officer, and they announced it and like wrote up the document and sent it out this week. So he is officially the chief financial officer of this company that's actually just been funded for the next 2 years for their project. And he's looking for developers. So I may be doing some coding, and it's all AI stuff. That's the thing. Everybody's transitioning to AI. So like everything that he needs a dev for is all AI related shit. And all I've done is eat, drink, shit, sleep, AI, and not necessarily in that order over the last couple of years. So I'm thinking about it. And the thing is if you think about it, back at my most productive days on YouTube were when I had a day job at Microsoft. If you go back, I produced more videos when I was actually, well, there is a little bit of a crossover there, but for the most part, I produced more videos and more like on a better schedule when I actually had a day job than I did when it was my full-time gig.
Nice.
So going to a day job wouldn't kill my YouTube. If anything, it might even revive it, because it gives me the ideas. It gives me it's weird. YouTube is it's hard to say. YouTube, I don't want to say it's a thankless job, because there's a lot of people that give you like direct feedback and say, we love what you do. But you don't have that same experience as having a group of people that are working with you that are like, wow, you just saved our ass. Wow, you just changed the game. Wow, you just improved everything by this much, and it's saving the company this much money. I lived for those things. Like it made me feel so good. You were floating on a cloud, right?
You know you're doing something that is making a difference. Like, I feel like that's why a lot of people get burnt out or just down about their work. You're just like, what am I doing any of this for?
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're right. You're right. So I think, and the thing is, everything's going to AI anyways. So I know I'd essentially just be getting a job where I'm literally automating myself out of a job at some point, but at least it's a job. At least I got something to do in the time being, and I got to stop trying to think so far into the future and railroad myself, because right now, all paths lead to homelessness at some point. I won't say when, but they all lead to homelessness. I don't want to be homeless. Yeah. So I got to do something. So I'm gonna definitely contact my therapist, because I do feel like I've fallen off a lot since I lost my therapist, because she's been gone now. I couldn't even tell you how long. I think it's been like 2-3 years. She's been gone, and I feel like freaking lost, man. Like she did a really good job of motivating me. She really did. And just like you said, the conversation always started the same way every week. I would get on there. She would say the exact words that were necessary to trigger me into just getting pissed and dumping everything.
Yeah.
Nice. She'd be, how are you doing? Awesome. You give the, oh, I'm fine. Like, how are you doing? And she's like, you're not fine. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And she'd be like, okay, what's bugging you? And I just start talking about something that's like innocuous, one little itty bitty thing. And she would know exactly like what little phrases to say, just like in response in the back and forth, in between me talking without interrupting me, only during the pauses. She'd come in and she'd know how to keep the conversation going, how to drag more and more out of me until I was like literally in tears, like just dumping everything on her, talking about shit I didn't even know was bugging me. Like it just all comes pouring out. And she never was judgmental, ever. That's one thing I loved about it. No judgment. Like literally I could tell her, you know what? I'm going to start taking heroin. And she'd be like, you know what? Do you think that's a good idea? And I'd be like, yes, it is. And she's like, okay, well, let's find out how to get you heroin without I mean, she wasn't that bad, but I'm just saying she was the type of person that she didn't judge you for anything. It didn't matter. You could sit there and tell her how you choked yourself in the closet while you were choking your chicken or whatever, and how you like chafed your butthole on a chair, you know, sitting on it too hard. She'd be like, oh, that's fine. Like, you know, like what can you do to not chafe your butthole next time? like nothing fazed her, and I loved it. Absolutely missed it. But I keep thinking, like, I think the reason why I've avoided her husband for so long is I just don't feel comfortable having that same level of conversation with a guy. Like, as weird as that sounds, right? It's like, it shouldn't matter, but it's like, it's the same thing like when I get my physicals, right? I get my physicals from a man. It sounds really weird why you get your physicals from a man, right? It's like, why not get it from women? But it's like, I really don't want to be getting a boner while my doctor's like fingering my beehole, right? So I prefer to get my physicals from a man, right? But I prefer to get my therapy from a woman because I feel like they have like something about just being a woman and how I was raised. It makes me more attuned to listen to the advice and take it seriously. Sure. Because I think I see them almost as like a motherly figure. Yeah. Like when I look at a fatherly figure, I see somebody who's like, oh, strong and you got to fucking work hard and don't be a pussy. But when I'm talking to a motherly figure, it's like she just wants to see you have a good life and be well, right? And so I'm worried talking to the guy that even if he might be similar to her, that I might hold back just because he's a dude and be like, oh, I'm big tough Jerry. I'm not going to shed any tears. I'm going to talk shit and be tough, you know? So I that's the only thing I'm worried about. But if I can get over that barrier with him, then honestly, my life would be a lot better having therapy again, for sure. For sure. My pain is the other thing. Like, the pain has been just like fucking unbearable some days. And would somebody say something? Yeah. No. Oh yeah. So the pain shit is what bugs me the most, because I feel like the pain stuff, it's like hard to focus on anything when your pain level hits a point where you can't focus off of it. Especially when you have like OCD and ADHD. It's like if there's a bird screaming in your ear, you can't help but look at that bird. You can't ignore the bird. Like, if there's a sound in your proximity, you have to know what it is. You have to be up in its business. ADHD is a hell of a thing, right? It's a superpower when you're all alone and you're locked into an environment where you're only fully focused on something. But when you have that bird screaming in the background, which is exactly what my nerve in my hip does, it just sits there and burns and pokes at me. And it's like, hey, I'm here. Pay attention to me. You can't get comfortable. Like, even right now, you guys can't see on the camera, but I'm fully leaned into my desk, using my chest on my belly to just take pressure off my lower back and my hip. Because if I sit back in the chair like this and pull the microphone, you'd think I'd be more comfortable, but no, it like starts radiating and the pain just builds and builds and builds until I can't think of anything else but the pain. So I constantly move myself around and like reorient my hip and everything and try to get it better, but they can't do anything about it. That's the thing. I talked to the doctor. He's like, dude, we're not going to go in there and do surgery. He said because of the nerve or whatever, the risk of total paralysis is really high. So until you're in a wheelchair and you can't move, we're not doing the operation. Thank you so much, Michael R. Media. Appreciate the 250, brother. I really do. I will definitely put that towards therapy. But yeah, and the steroid injections, those are like, $500 to $700 out of pocket, depending on the season. And insurance doesn't cover it, and they're super painful, and 50-50 odds they work. And if they don't work, at least you get 1 day. That's the one thing I really loved about it, is even when it didn't work, you got 1 full day of pain relief, because they inject you with this fast acting painkiller that just basically just nukes all the nerves in the area for 24 hours, because they're basically sticking like a fucking Starbucks coffee straw into you down, jamming it in your joint of your hip. It's very painful, very, very painful. So they have to inject this like super, super pain medicine before they do the steroid injection. That super pain medicine is amazing. Like, I would literally go through the pain of getting that injection every 24 hours if I could afford it. Like, if it was possible. He said you can't because it's like it'd override your system.
Well, that'd be bad for you. Yeah,
it'd be bad for you. So if I could get that, it's like I always get this one day. I always call it the day of magic, where I go get the steroid injection, even if it doesn't work. Even if after 7 days it doesn't work, I get that one day where it's just like, wow, this is what I used to feel like 10 years ago. Like this is normal for me. And oh man, I do everything I could in that 24-hour period to enjoy it. Left Step said, supposedly there's a new pain drug. Yeah, I need to talk to my doctor about that. Is it available on the market right now? So yeah, what is it? Jornavix? Suzetrigine. It isn't an opiate, but my doctor has never heard of it. Yeah, I haven't talked to my doctor about it yet, but I meant to. I have it written in one of my notes from one of the tech talks because somebody else recommended it. And my doctor is like a full-blown pain doctor, so I'd be surprised if he doesn't know about it. Maybe I'll text him after the show. Actually, I have him on my messenger. I can send him messages directly. Oh, damn, Michael Armedia, thank you for another 250, brother. Oh, and 250 for Aux. That's funny because it actually does work out that way. Like, that's rad, dude. Hey, I want to thank everybody else, too, here really quick. So, Daniel Frost, thank you for the 27 months membership. I really appreciate it, brother. Thomas Lind, thank you for the 2-month sub to the channel. Really appreciate it. He said, love the tech, love the talk. And then, nice. And let's see, did I miss any other? Did we miss Blue Varro earlier? I hope I didn't. Blue Varro, are you in chat? I want to make sure I got you for the 5 gifted subs.
A bunch of subs, yeah.
Yeah, he gifted 5 subs, so we got to give him some love,
we
too.
We said something, yeah.
Did we? Okay, because I really do appreciate that. Blue Varro's been around forever, dude. He's a good dude. He's a really, really good dude. But yeah, pain fucking sucks, man. Like, I wish, and the thing is, like, no amount of opiates, like, fixes it. All it does is just make it more tolerable. The injection that they do, that like fixes it for 24 hours, or if the steroid works, it pretty much does about 80% pain relief for about a month and a half. And then you have to wait 3 months to get another injection because they can't put more than that of the steroid in your body without damaging your kidneys. So it's like, yeah, it's just always back and forth or something, right? Pain is weakness leaving the body. Dude, it never leaves. That's the problem. The sumbitch never leaves. Like, I wish it'd leave. I'd drive that shit out in a second if I could. But you just learn to live with it. You know, that's the thing, is like, if you can't change it, you just learn to live with it. And it's weird because it's like people are, oh man, it must be really hard to live with pain. It's like, yeah, it is, but it's like, what's the other alternative? Like, there is no alternative. I don't get a choice in it. It's not like I get to decide, right? If I could decide, I would decide not to have the pain. So I just live with it. I just tolerate it. But here's the thing. The one thing that works good for relieving pain more than anything else, other than the steroid injections when they work, is doing Tech Talk with Aux. When I'm here talking to you guys and I'm engaged with them for 3 hours and I'm focused on that instead of sitting in a bed or trying to get comfortable or trying to put an ice pack on my hip or a heating pad, or I tried DDP yoga. Sadly, that didn't work for me, third shifter, but it's a great recommendation. Like, I really like what Diamond Dallas Page is doing with the DDP yoga, and it does help a lot of people. Like, I saw what it did for Butterbean, and I was like, holy shit, dude. I really did want it to work, but sadly it doesn't. Yoga is great, though, by the way. Yoga is fantastic. The breathing exercises are fantastic. There's a lot of shit you can get from yoga, for sure. Would an implanted nerve stimulator work? No, they said they won't install it below L4? They said that for whatever reason, they won't install it below L4. Like, they'll do it in the spine, and they'll do it in certain nerves, but they will not do it down at the sciatic nerve, like, intersection where it goes through your hip. They won't put the nerve block down there. I was like, God damn it, why? And they're like, it's just too dangerous. Like, that nerve, like, if you fuck with that nerve or whatever, it can, like, completely paralyze you. So they won't do it. I already asked them, because I was like, dude, if they could just kill that nerve, like, I don't need to feel anything. Like, there's no, right. There's nothing special about my hip. Like, I don't need my hip to be there. It can just literally be invisible, and it's still going to do what I want it to do. But they won't do it. And yeah, no. And the thing is, okay, everybody says lose weight. Losing weight would definitely help. Wait, Griffin said, I know you will disagree. Why would I disagree with that? That's logical. Losing weight absolutely would help, but it won't fix the problem. That's the thing. It will help with things like stamina and dexterity. Losing weight absolutely will help with that. And by the way, I do want to lose weight, but here's the thing. And I've talked to so many people, including my therapist, about this. It is really difficult to lose weight when you can't move. Like, when you are stuck in a position and you physically cannot move enough. Like, I mean, I'm down to bed exercise now where I'm like just trying to move my arms and move my legs around. I get the most exercise I can get is get in the hot tub. I need to do that more often. Get in the hot tub, move my arms and move my legs. So I can do a little bit and then I can stop eating. But here's the problem. Every single time I go on a diet to lose the weight, here's what happens. Every single time, like clockwork. And it's happened so many times that it's like, I don't even want to do it again, because every time it happens, I end up worse off. I lose the weight doing the diet, but I also lose the muscle. But then I hit a point where I fucking hurt myself so bad that I am now laid up for weeks. I gain the weight back, but I don't get the muscle back. Mm-hmm. And because I don't have the muscle, it no longer supports those nerve intersections. And so the last 2 times I lost weight, I actually came out of it in way more pain both times. One of them was because of keto. Keto caused a massive, what do they call that? Uric acid buildup in my joints and like fucked up all my joints. All my fingers and shit all creak and fucking hurt now. Yeah, they fucked up on that one. But no, losing weight definitely would help in a lot of areas, but it won't help with the pain. And even my pain doctor already confirmed that, and so did my general practitioner. He said, listen, Losing weight will not help with the pain. The pain is a nerve pinch related. It's not weight related. It has to do with the actual diameter of the hole through my hip where the sciatic nerve comes down and threads through. That's pinching it permanently, and I can't take NSAIDs like Advil and stuff like that, so it's just permanently inflamed and jammed in there. So no matter how much weight, even if I weighed 100 pounds, I'm still going to have that same pain. But I would be able to move more, like for longer periods of time. You know, I'd just take painkillers to try to deaden that as much as possible, and then I'd be able to move more. But no, I would love to lose weight, man. I would love to lose weight, but every fucking time I've done it, I've lost the muscle and I couldn't get the muscle back. Because here's the thing. When you diet, you lose the muscle and you lose the fat, and then you exercise to maintain the muscle. But if you can't exercise to maintain the muscle goes. And then if you lose the weight and the muscle, and then you try to get the muscle back through exercising and you can't exercise, you can't get the muscle back. And my doctor said the biggest thing right now that's helping my back right now as far as like making the pain tolerable is my abdominal muscles. And I don't have a good way to build my abdominal muscles, like other than just the limited use I do every day. But if I lose those abdominal muscles, if those get eaten away, I am fucked. Like at that point, I am now in a wheelchair. So what I really need to do is find some kind of exercises that I can do, even if they're painful, for a period of time, just chew on a stick or whatever.
Clap.
Get through it. What's that?
Just clap, man. With the what was the Richard Simmons thing? Dancing with the Oldies, right?
Dancing with the Oldies.
Just fucking
be like,
clap along.
yeah, woo,
just clap along at first.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
Why not? It's something.
Yeah,
because like obviously you can't be doing squats and stuff, but your arms are good enough. Yeah, and it's gonna get your heart pumping.
Actually, you know what the best exercise is? I just got to do it more, and this is the hard part. Is getting in and out of the hot tub is really difficult with my hip the way it is. So, but once I get into the hot tub, moving the water with my legs and my hands, it takes the pressure off that hip joint. So that I can do more, and moving the water like takes a lot. Like the harder you try to move the water, the harder it pushes back. So moving the water and then like moving my legs to try to like do a crunch with my legs, because I can't do a crunch or a sit up, but in the water I can pull my legs in.
Yeah, just
and
lift your knees to your chin kind of thing.
Yeah, and so I could build abdominal muscle through that. Is lipo an option? No, sadly, no. They won't do lipo. Lipo they'll do for small amounts, but they won't do it for large. Right? Yeah,
it's like one of those. Oh, you gotta lose enough weight to be able to survive the anesthetic from the surgery or something. You know, yeah.
Dude, I would love to go swimming. If I had a swimming pool near me, the closest swimming pool is a 45-minute drive both directions, sadly. Like community swimming pool. I love swimming. I am a water dude. I'm a water baby. If I had access to like a body of clean water that I could swim in regularly, that I wouldn't get dysentery like the creek or whatever, I'd totally be in it. Because one, I like cold water. Like I like being in cold water, especially if I'm exerting myself in any way, shape, or form. But the hot tub's the best I got. Sex is the best exercise. It is. It definitely is. It definitely is. And Miss Barnacules would 100% agree with you, and she's barking up my tree all the time. So there's no shortage here. I'm the problem for sure. But no, I will tell you, I will agree with that. I will say the biggest things for exercise are VR, sex, and the hot tub. Like moving your arms and legs in the hot tub. Those are the three things that probably give me the most exercise. Because here's the thing, anything that builds dopamine is good, because dopamine suppresses pain. So that's one thing that's nice about sex, is it's hard to get started with the pain, but once you get past a certain point, you're creating enough dopamine that you're basically dosing yourself with like a huge amount of equivalent of oxycodone or some other painkiller. You're producing the same exact neurotransmitters in higher quantities, but it only lasts for a short period of time. So that's all I got to do. Okay, you guys gave me an idea. I'm going to get Miss Barnacules to come bark up my tree and get me going, because, you know, I have no choice past a certain point, right? Like I can't resist. Yeah. She's going to get me to that point, and then once I get to that point, she's basically just going to tease me and hold me at that position while I'm in the hot tub doing my exercise, or while I'm doing like VR or Beat Saber or something. I'm going to do that and be like, yeah, you got to keep me horny. Just keep me horny so that dopamine keeps flowing.
Timothy's got the right idea. He's like, combine all three: VR, sex, in the hot tub.
There you go, man. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Throw on the old Wanks VR on the Quest and just be like, all right, honey, we're going out to the hot tub. We're going to be doing some weird shit. Put on one of your books. Oh, my God, dude. The heavier you are, the more pressure you're imposing on that nerve. See, Griff, that's where you're wrong. Huh? So Griff, I agreed with you losing the weight. I already told you what it would do, but Griff's, of course, taking it a step further. I don't blame him. Like he doesn't know my medical history. He doesn't understand, so he's making assumptions. But no, obviously if losing the weight solved the nerve problem, I would have lost the weight 100 times over. I wouldn't have cared about the losing the muscle mass. I would have just crash diet done. I've lost 80 pounds several times in my life, like, and gained back more each time because of the damage it did ultimately. No, the pain that I have with my nerve isn't due to gravity. It's due to the diameter of a bone that the nerve is going through. So the nerve, think of it like trying to put a garden hose through a hole the size of a straw, right? You're squeezing it down, you're putting it through, you're pulling it through, but that's creating a pull. Like I can physically, when I walk, I feel it pulling. Like it feels like there's a rope going down my leg, and it tightens out, and it goes, and it's going like this every time I take a step. And because of that, going back and forth, it inflames it, and it gets big, and I can't take anti-inflammatory, so it stays in a permanently inflamed state because it keeps getting rubbed. The only way to get the inflammation to go away is to lay stationary for like an entire day or two. And if I lay stationary for an entire day or two, it goes down. But the second I get up and start walking again, within minutes, it's already inflamed again. So yeah, no, the weight. That's the problem. Is this isn't weight related. Losing weight helps with certain things, but it wouldn't help with the pain. That's the problem. Is it does not solve the pain problem. The pain problem I have to find a different solution for. But here's the thing: if I can find a solution for the pain that works, like for instance, if I could take Advil, it'd be amazing. Like if I could take Advil and not die, that would be freaking amazing. But I can't because I'm allergic to all NSAIDs and I need an EpiPen if I ingest any. We already accidentally found out the hard way that it was aspirin, ibuprofen, and naproxen. I went to a hospital for all three from massive allergic reactions. And so it would take the pain away technically. If I take the Advil, it does take the pain away, but then I almost die. So it's not really worth it, guys. It's not really worth it in the grand scheme of things. But no, if I could find a way to keep the pain under control, then yeah, I would just do the exercise and I would just do a diet and just do reduced caloric intake, right? Because I mean, that's what, at the end of the day, that's all dieting is. There's no special thing to it. There's no magical formula. As a matter of fact, the specialty diets like keto and stuff can really fuck you up long term. Like all the little diets. No, all it takes is just whatever you're eating right now, just less of it. Right? If you're maintaining your weight with whatever you're eating now, just eat less and your weight goes down. It's that simple. You don't have to do any extra work. Just breathing, laying in bed and breathing, you will burn those calories. So losing weight, the hard part about the losing weight is losing the muscle. Number one, the psychological barriers, right? Because that's a big one everybody seems to overlook, is eating food creates dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine and serotonin are painkillers, right? Foods that are high in calories generally produce more serotonin and more dopamine. You know, things of a sugary nature, for instance, right? Because that suppresses pain, you start to associate eating the food with the pain relief, and you start using the food as medication. And when you use the food as medication, you gain weight. And so that's the psychological component. So you have to defeat the psychological component, lower the caloric intake. But the only way to lower that caloric intake and not lose your muscle is to keep using your muscle. Right? Your muscle will stick around if you don't use it, as long as your caloric intake's high enough. But if you drop that caloric intake, you lose the muscle right with the fat unless you're exercising. So if you can't exercise because you're immobilized, you lose a bunch of weight. You lose all the muscle with it. And then you don't have a way to get the muscle back. So what I really need to do is figure out how to, the chicken before the egg. I have to figure out a method for suppressing the pain so that I can exercise, so that then I can reduce the caloric intake while keeping the muscle as I lose the weight. Then once I do that, I don't lose the muscle. And the muscle is the thing that's helping me suppress the pain. And I can tell, too, because last time I did the keto thing, I lost a lot of my core muscle. And when I lost that core muscle, it made the pain so much worse. Like, I felt way worse even being, I think it was, at that point, it was 60 pounds lighter. I was 60 pounds lighter, and I felt worse than I ever have before. I gained back, I want to say, like 120 pounds over the course of next year because I was bedridden. Because the keto fucked me up so bad with the uric acid. And that's where the real big downturn happened in my life. So yeah, I gotta hack myself. Retro bits put it. Yeah, I need to hack myself. Is what I need to do. I need to find the proper. I gotta find a proper, like, set regiment that I can suppress the pain or distract away from the pain enough that I can actually reliably work out the muscles so that I can reduce the caloric intake. Actually, reducing the caloric intake would be easy for me because I usually only eat once a day anyways because I take Adderall, and Adderall is an appetite suppressant.
Yeah.
That's what's so funny about it is it's like I don't gain weight, but I don't lose weight. I've been the same weight for about a year now. And so I'm pretty much stable at the weight I am, but some days I only eat one time. because the Adderall, the biggest one is I don't drink enough water. I have to force myself to drink water because Adderall kills that water reflex big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's why I get those headaches every once in a while in the morning because I wake up like just wicked dehydrated.
Yep. Bear Williams said too, nervous and depressed eating can be a huge issue. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, if you're depressed and your serotonin calms you down a lot, and eating food generates that too. So yeah, and you associate smell and taste. It's like one of the strongest things to your subconscious. So you can actually alter your mind state more with food than almost anything else.
Oh, that's a big one.
Bradley Smith said, time to start working on an app to hack yourself. Log the good moments and the bad moments. That's the big thing is when you're logging stuff, you have to log everything. You can't leave anything out. Otherwise it doesn't work. Dr. Durr said, is it possible to do just upper body exercises while sitting down, like dumbbells or whatever? I have been trying to get dumbbells, but they're stupid expensive right now. I need to find something other than dumbbells.
Start with clapping.
Just clap, man. Just clap. No, I do.
And then wrist weights.
Yeah.
You're going to be so good at hugging.
I think I have wrist weights somewhere. I should go dig those out. Yeah, because when I lay in bed, I do this, like, because I have circulation problems in my arms that get really bad, so I'll do this while I'm laying in bed, and this I can do fairly comfortably. It will eventually start causing increased pain in my lower back.
Then you stop.
But I just do this for like, a couple of minutes, and then I stop, take a break, do it again. And if I did that like for like an hour a day while I was just watching shows or whatever, that would actually give me a lot of upper body exercise. It would increase the caloric burn, so I would lose weight faster because it'd raise my resting metabolism. Yeah, play VR. I need to really get back into VR. My son's been dying for me to play Gorilla Tag, and it's the most exerting game I've ever played in my life. You only have to use your arms, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I did that, that would be really helpful. But I just have to be careful not to lose my core muscle. So if I'm going to go on a diet, I need to figure out how to protect my core, the core muscle, from going away. And for that, I need to figure out how to do an exercise. Maybe I could I don't know. Maybe I should talk. I need to ask my doctor. I wonder if just flexing, like if I just sit there and I just flex my core, like if I just sit there and just go, like I'm trying to get my abs to pop out. If I just sit there and do that lightly, I wonder if that would be sufficient to keep the muscle there. Like just enough to where it's like, hey, bro is using his muscles. We don't know what he's doing, but he's using them. so Kegels. I got to do man Kegels, man. I can do mangles. Vegan, you might have tried it. Oh, I can't stand vegan food, brother. I can't. I've tried it. I can't do it.
I do have to interject. It has gotten so much better over the years.
Yeah, dude, the vegan chicken nuggets are good. Actually, I do like the vegan chicken nuggets.
Yeah, it's pronounced corn, but it starts with a Q. Those are fantastic. It tastes like any other fucking chicken nugget ever. Field roast has come a long way. Their fucking chorizo, amazing.
I haven't tried the chorizo. I'll have to give the chorizo a try. I haven't tried that yet.
Back 20 years ago, back in high school, when field roast was like just a thing, and all they had were like the little discs of like pretend meat.
Yeah, that was terrible, man. That was terrible.
Man,
first generation Beyond Burgers sucked.
Yeah. Oh man, that's another thing. The Beyond sausages, amazing. Oh, just expensive is the thing. Some of it can get really pricey.
My wife is vegan not by choice because she was pre-diabetic.
Man,
luckily I've dodged the diabetes. Like my blood sugar is perfect, which is just so fucking weird. You think about it, you're like I joke with my doctor every time I see him. I'm like, bro, we do my physical, and my physical only ever shows slightly elevated LDL. Everything else is pretty much in the zone, except for liver enzymes. Liver enzymes have been a concern lately. But the liver enzymes aren't from weight; they're from my medication. Sadly, over a long period of time. So they want to biopsy my liver just to make sure it's nothing like serious. But that kind of freaks me out, so I don't really want to do that. But at some point, I'll have to cave. But everything else perfectly healthy from a numbers perspective. Cholesterol's right where it's supposed to be. Sugar's right where it's supposed to be. HDL, triglycerides, like all that stuff is like within where it's supposed to be for my age. Very, very bizarre. Like I joke, but my wife, unfortunately, she didn't get as lucky. She actually became pre-diabetic from weight gain, and she went to a full vegan diet, and within 3 months, she's back to perfect blood sugar numbers. Like just in 3 months. And plus she lost like 30 pounds doing it, because vegan, you can lose quite a bit of weight really, really fast.
Oh yeah.
But I've tried a lot of the food she made, and I'm like, I don't really like it. Which is actually kind of a perk if you think about it, because if you're trying to go on a diet and trying to lose weight, you don't want to enjoy the food so much, but then you don't have the dopamine and the serotonin, which means now you hurt more and you're like a more miserable person. Mm-hmm. So it's a balance, right? It's a constant balance. But I love watching how successful she's been at it. Like she was like super, super hardcore vegan. She cheats every once in a while now, but she was like super hardcore vegan for like 3 months because she was so scared when the doctor told her she was like pre-diabetic. She was like freaking. And so she did this and man, put her numbers right back like in the perfect butter zone. And I was like, wow, just changing a diet for 3 months made like all the difference in the world. Have I tried fasting a day a week? That I tried fasting years ago. But the funny thing is fasting would be easy for me to do because when I take Adderall, I don't crave food. If I took my evening dose of Adderall, I wouldn't eat. Like I would just legitimately forget to eat. That's one of the biggest problems I have with my wife. Like yesterday, I didn't go to sleep last night. So I've been up since 2 p.m. yesterday. I woke up late, but still I didn't go to sleep and I've eaten twice and I didn't finish either meal. So, and that's almost been 21 hours. I've only eaten twice. And one was like half a normal serving of mac and cheese that I couldn't even finish and half an omelet that I had for breakfast because I couldn't finish that either. Because Adderall, dude, you know what I'm talking about, Aux. Adderall just fucks your appetite. Like you cannot eat. Like you don't crave it at all. You're eating and you're like, you're getting nothing from it. Like, yeah, it's weird.
I found good success. Normally I eat breakfast like within an hour or so waking up. Like I gotta eat. So what I've been doing lately, and I need to re-up on my protein powder. But I'll put 2 scoops of protein powder in my coffee, and take the Adderall when drinking the coffee, and I'll get to about noon, and then I eat lunch. And that's not that I'm not for any real purpose. It's just that's just what ends up what happened.
Yep. Dude, some of those protein powders are pretty tasty. But
dude, yeah.
But I have another problem is I can't take a lot of protein because I developed protein stones. Oh, so they took my kidney stone and they broke it down. And they said it was from an excess of protein. So
yeah, I've been suggested to add a little fiber too, because like it can you eat too much protein, you make it hard to poop.
Yep. No, I take a Docalax twice a week, and I take stool softeners every day. And because of the medicines I take, because I take a painkiller, which all opiate-based painkillers, even buprenorphine, which is like the lowest of the opiates, it still gives you constipation. That's just something that comes with opiates, sadly. But then I also take Adderall, which dehydrates you, which also makes you more constipated. My blood pressure medicine I take also gives you dry mouth, dries you out, makes you more constipated, and you don't want to drink water. You never have a thirst for water. So you have to remind yourself to drink water. Like last night I drank I didn't drink a single drop of water yesterday. From the time I woke up to about 3 a.m. was when I took my first drink of water. And the only reason I took it is because I went downstairs and I realized like my mouth was really dry and I went to take my medicine and I was like, wait a second, this is the first medicine I'm taking today. I forgot to take my medicine this morning. And I was like, wait a second, I haven't drank any water because I drank my first drink of water with the medicine and I didn't take any water with me upstairs. So I'm like, I literally didn't drink water for the longest period of time. So I sat down and killed about 3/4 of a gallon of water within about 2 hours before I went to bed. Well, I didn't go to bed. I actually stayed up all night. But I did drink like my big, huge 1 gallon jug. I drank it down to about maybe a quarter left. And so my wife was even like, wow, man, you were really thirsty. You drank a lot of water. I wasn't thirsty at all. I just forced it down. Like I just drank as much as I could, drank as much as I could. I was just that freaking dehydrated and I instantly felt better afterwards.
Yeah.
That's the thing is you feel like shit as you're getting dehydrated, but you don't crave the water. So you don't associate it with the problem. Mm-hmm, so you're like getting headaches and you're feeling all cramped up and you feel like shit. And you're like, what the hell? And then you drink the water and then like a half an hour later, you feel like way, way better.
Yep.
So what I really need to do, honestly, is just put a bunch of shit into my phone so it just nags me. Drink water. Go take a shit. Drink water. Go eat something. Like honestly, just having some kind of order to my life would do wonders for everything, if I'm honest. Plus sleep. A lot of people discount sleep when you're losing weight and for like health related shit, and I cannot sleep well. Mm-hmm. It is impossible. My weight is definitely a factor there. Like if I lost weight, I would definitely be able to sleep better. But the constant pain in my hip wakes me up all night long. And I can't take medication while I'm sleeping. So, and if I can't take medication when I'm sleeping, the pain eventually comes back. I have to wake up and take a dose of med, which takes me 15 to 30 minutes because I have to dissolve it fully under my tongue and I can't go to sleep with it in my mouth. So it's a whole fucking ordeal. I really don't like it. I wish there was a better option. Hey, Tech Chef, thank you for the $2, man. I appreciate it. I tend to not an appetite even when I'm starving. I have an appetite. Gotcha. What med caused the increased liver enzymes? They think it's the buprenorphine, the painkiller that I'm on. The painkiller I'm on hits the liver. I don't remember if Adderall does liver stuff. I don't think it does. Let's see here. Does Adderall damage liver? Everything's liver or kidneys. Like your liver and kidneys metabolize everything. So one attacks the liver, one attack. You got to try to balance them, right? Okay, so yeah, Adderall can cause severe liver damage. So yeah, so I'm taking Adderall, I'm taking buprenorphine, which causes liver damage, and I don't know if my muscle relaxer causes liver damage. It's called I think it starts with a T, like trazodone or something. Something like, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sure it probably also puts pressure on the liver. Have I tried gaming things like having to take meds, etc.? A long time ago I did, and it was actually really successful. I should do that again. Like having the gamification where it's like you have a score associated with achieving your goals each day, so you want to make sure you clear the board. For me,
it still needs to be more external. Like I have such a hard time with self. Like I've tried Habatica. I've tried like I do this one Finch, because it's like you have like this little bird that you.
Is it like an app or?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is though, the biggest hurdle for me is all of these require that I put in the tasks that I need to build the habits for, and one, I'm not organized enough to think through. That's part of the reason I don't do the shit I'm supposed to do, is because I forget. Okay, so I can't remember to put it on a list. What I really need is a virtual assistant. I need somebody to just text me and say, hey, or like there's a morning phone call or a chat that says, hey man, this is what you're doing today. And then they check up on me. They text me and fucking VA says, hey, are you working on that thing we talked about? Oh, that's right. No. And then some reward needs to be attached to that too.
You have to have the reward. The reward's big.
Because because frankly, that's part of it too, is I can talk myself out of it. I can rationalize to myself why not to do something.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to rationalize not doing it.
That's why like the good therapist is so helpful. A good boss is so helpful. I want to do good for a good boss. I want to make them proud or whatever. I need that sort of external validation. And that's just part of my. I turned 39 this year, man. I'm going to turn 39 this year. Yeah. There's no fixing what is broken. There's no fixing what is broken in my brain. I've come to accept that I need to work with how my brain works. Everything, all of these issues with my brain are too deeply ingrained to rewire it. So what I need to do is build a system, a framework around me that works well with this ingrained bullshit.
100%.
And I know I'm self-aware enough to know that I need somebody to tell me what to do. I'll do anything. If you got it, boss. I need to be able to push back a little bit, because there's an anti-authoritativeness inside of me that I don't want to be told what to do.
Exactly.
But, and again, great bosses that I've had in the past learned, like this, one of my favorites back in the day when I was working at Starbucks, I would say Maggie was my shift lead. She'd tell me go do something. I'd tell her no, while I'm going off to go do it. And at first she got a little bugged about it. Like, oh, you're just, negative. You're just contrary, or you
right.
Back. You don't respect me. That's when it first clicked to me that like, I need to be able to do this. I need to make it feel like it's my choice. Yeah, I'll do whatever you fucking tell me to do. You're the boss. But like, I need to make it feel like I had a choice in it. And so
the human mind needs manipulation. Like, even if you're aware that you're being manipulated, it doesn't matter as long as that manipulation achieves some goal that helps you.
She would let me I said no. And just, okay. And then she knows it's going to get done, because that's my job. I have to do what she tells me to do. But like, I need to have it. It also makes it a little more fun. It makes it a little more fun to be a little contrary and push back a little bit and stuff like that. And so like, yeah, man, that's one of those things. Like, I need to be told what to do, and there needs to be a reward at the end for doing it. Because whether it's work or like exercising or whatever, that's just self-motivation is not there to an extent. But even some of the things, a good example of this is like making the bed. I get no satisfaction whatsoever out of making the bed. That Navy guy talking at the commencement speech about, oh, if you do one thing in the day, at least make your bed, because then you have something you can be proud of actually accomplishing. I get no sense of accomplishment out of making the bed. I make the bed because my wife wants the bed made. I do it for her.
But her happiness though is that's your reward.
Yep.
It's seeing her happy.
About the bed being made. I do not care. It does absolutely nothing for me. She's like, oh, you don't feel like, oh, it's so nice to come in and see. I go, it's kind of cool. It is nice to see like the bed made and like all the pillows and stuff all where they're supposed to go. And
once it's done, you start vibing with it.
Like she'll go off on a girls trip for a few days or whatever. Her side of the bed stays made. My side of the bed is like messed from flipping the blankets and stuff, but I don't ever reset it. I do not reset it when she's gone. I reset it when I know she's coming back. Yeah. The bed will be made and perfect before she walks through that door, but I don't do that. I do not. If I'm living by myself, I'm not making my bed. I don't care. And so I just bring that up as an example of external motivation. I do it because she wants the bed made and I want her to be happy with the bed being made. I don't care.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems I think I have is my wife is way too accommodating. She knows that I'm in a lot of pain and she knows what I struggle with, and she's seen me at my worst. Like nobody online has seen me at my worst, and I do a good job of hiding that. Like that's something that I don't want published online. Like that's a very vulnerable thing I'll talk about it, but I just don't want to like physically video it online. But my pain reaches thresholds fairly regularly where all I can do is curl up in a ball and scream. To where the neighbors probably can hear me, but they know that I go through this. And all I can do is curl up and yell because the pain is a 10 out of 10 and I can't tolerate anymore. And it just sits there and bites me, and I don't know when it'll end. Like it lasts as long as 45 minutes. Sometimes it goes away in 5. But all I can do, because I can't move, I can't put weight on it, I am just curled up in a ball in a fetal position, just trying not to scream, but sometimes you can't help it. You just let it out. And when my wife has to see that shit, it makes me so upset. Like, I don't like it. Like, I try to hide it. I try to go into, like, the closet if I can get there. But usually when it happens, I can't. Wherever it happens, that's where I'm stuck. And it sucks. It's crazy to experience that amount of pain. And you just tell yourself, oh, it's going to go away. And it does. It eventually will subside. You know, it's usually related to a spasm that happens in my hip or my lower back that basically pinches that nerve as hard as it can, and I can't release it. Like, it's not, my brain can't make it release. Like, it has to just run its course, and it sucks, and I hate that it gets that bad, and that's why I try to avoid triggering it. And she doesn't want me to trigger it. Like, I tell her, hey, can I take out the garbage? She's like, no, she'll run and grab it and take out the garbage. Like, she won't let me do it. And there's a lot of stuff she won't let me do because she doesn't want to see me in that level of pain. But at the same time, it's like I need the motivation to do something, and if I take the garbage out for her and that would make her happy, then that would make me happy.
Yep.
And even if it hurts or it causes me problems, that sucks. But at the same time, it's like I achieved something which makes me happy and puts me in a better mental state in the longer scheme of things, right? It sucks in the moment, but it'll be better in the long run. And so I need to really like talk to her. And our therapist, we used to have group therapy sessions too, where we both talked to the therapist individually, and then once a month we'd get together, or we'd talk to her together, and then we'd talk individually, and that way we could kind of come together and talk about the things that are like a group effort. And a lot of it, the therapist was like, telling her like she needs to like let me do stuff even though it hurts me. Like even though it sucks to see him in that pain, just he's got to do it, because if he doesn't, then he's going to feel useless. And if he feels useless, he's going to just fall into deep depression, which I am. And it's just this endless cycle, right? And so I think one of the things I really need to do is self-police myself into doing the things, whether she wants me to do them or not, so she doesn't feel like she's making me do it, which then makes her feel bad when it causes me tons of pain. But then at the same time, if I do it, she's going to be happy that I did it, especially if it's one of the times where it doesn't cause me massive pain, and it'll be a good thing, right? So
thanks for $2, Michael R. Media. I love a good Aux rant. Fuck making the bed. That's right. Fuck the bed.
Fuck the bed, man. The bed is for fucking, not making. Fucking and sleeping. Oh my God, dude. The Tech Chef 420, thank you for the $2, by the way. Also, Michael R. Media, thank you for that. He said, I tend to not have an appetite. Oh, we read that. Hystario, thank you for the $5. He said, have you tried lipo shots with B12? They protect your liver from being covered with fat and will break down fat. I have my life back. Really? Wait, what the hell is a lipo shot with B12? I haven't heard of this. I've heard of B12. B12 is amazing. Like, even just taking it orally is amazing. It's niacin, I believe. Isn't B12 niacin? It's like one of the key components in these fucking like death energy drinks. Let me see. Is it B12 is no, niacin's B3. The B12 comes from, hold on here, let me find it. The B12 comes from something called cyanocobalamin.
Ooh.
That's the, well, at least that's the source of vitamin B12 in this. And then it looks like B6 comes from niacin. Yeah, no, B12 is great shit, man. It's really, really, you prefer the D12? Lols. Excuse me. I gotta look this up. This what is it? Lipo shot with B12. Wait, what is a can you get liposuction through a shot, or is it just called a lipo shot? Lipo shot B12. Let me look this up here. Okay, lipo B12 injections represent a blend of vitamins and amino acids tailored to promote fat metabolism and enhance energy levels. Oh my God, I'd love that. Typically, these injections include a mix of vitamin B12, methylamine, inositol, and choline, substances known for their fat-burning properties. What is this shit, man? I want this. Does insurance cover it, Hystario? Like, it sounds like you said it gave you your life back. Like, is this something that you can get insurance to pay for? Like, what do you have to tell them? Because insurance never pays for anything for me. I spend all this money on insurance, and then I still have to pay money out of pocket to, like, do everything with the doctor. It's fucking terrible. Let's see here. Wait, you can buy the injections? Can you just do the injections yourself at home, or does it, like, require prescription? Because my wife can give me injections as long as it's just what they call transdermal injection or wherever you don't have to go into the vein. She can do those because she used to have to do blood thinner shots into my stomach for like a year. So lipo B12 is a combination of lipotropic compounds. $110 a month. I guess that's not like terrible.
Hold on a second. I think I got to take the dog out.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay, so lipo B12 is a combination of methylamine. Approximately 6% of people under the age of 60 and 20% of the people over 60 are vitamin B12 deficient. Well, I know I'm not vitamin B12 deficient because I went and got tested for all my vitamins. And they said all my vitamin levels were good because I was taking oral B12. But I'm curious, like, what the injection does. No, but you can get a vial that will give you 10 shots for $244. How often do you have to take the shots, Hystario? So 10 shots for $244. Like, how long is that? Is that like a month supply? Is that a 3-month supply? I'm kind of curious. And is it just a subdermal? Like, you just inject it into your ass or your stomach, or does it have to go into a vein? Because if it has to go into a vein, I can't do it. My wife doesn't have those kind of skills. I'm kind of interested in this. Espresso plus B12 with a niacin pill. I know. It's quite literally. I mean, it's literally. It doesn't. What's the lipo part? What is lipo B12? Like, is that just what they call it when it's an injection, or is it like a separate thing other than B12? Because if it's just B12, I don't have a B12 deficiency at all. But I definitely am sensitive to B12. Like when I take a B12 supplement every couple of days, I definitely notice like the niacin or whatever, the B6 and the B12, because I have one that has like all three. It has B3, B3? It's either B3 or B5, B6, and B12. And I definitely notice it. Like when you take it, it definitely gives you like a little punch, similar to drinking like a strong coffee. Networking guy said, can I design a launcher so even $150 in donations that launches the needle at you with the robotic arm? I mean, I do have the arm. Oh wait, you only need an injection once a week? So that'd be almost 3 months for $240, so under $100 a month. Oh, that might be doable. Hey, Hystario, can you send me a link to where to buy that? Like, it is. I should probably ask. It is legal to buy this, right? I mean, it's just vitamins. So I should be able to buy this, right? I just want to make sure. I don't want to be like buying shit off a website and find out it's like that fucking dude Trump pardon that's like the world's biggest drug dealer, killed a bunch of kids. Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that shit. But this is kind of interesting to me. I don't recognize these compounds like I think the methionine or whatever, I think that is actually the compound that the B12 comes from in my vitamin that I take. But I don't know what this inositol and choline is.
Start asking.
So I'm going to have to ask some questions. Yeah, let's say. Yeah, I'm going to have to bust Chat GPT open and go through it.
What is this?
Hey, Ian, thank you for the $2.72 earlier. Sorry, I forgot that. He said, client, I'm terrified of the Backstreet Boys therapist. Tell me why. Client screams. Tell me why I did it. Illegal in American Samoa. Well, luckily I'm not in American Samoa. So, I mean, it's an injectable, but no. So I know for a fact B12 injections are not a scam. Like I know I don't know. Depending on where you buy them online, I'm sure it could be a scam, and you're probably getting a vial of like fucking fake water. I'd want to buy it from an actual pharmaceutical source where like a doctor or a pharmacy would get it. I wouldn't buy it from some random website.
Amazon.
I'm not buying like fucking Chinese Amazon shit.
No. Like they have a whole setup.
Oh, do they? Hold on here.
Yeah, they bought out like Med One or something like that. They are a legit shipper of like prescription drugs. Even like they are a distributor for legit drugs. Not everything, not a whole. Like I can't get Adderall through because of Schedule 2, right?
Well, right.
A lot of stuff. Yep. You can buy a lot of stuff, a lot of legitimate drugs through Amazon.
Yeah, I don't think they have.
Which is scary as fuck, by the way. Like I'm not really trying to support that,
dude. I get fake batteries from Amazon on a regular, and I have to fucking report them for battery scams. So I don't want to be buying my B12 from Amazon. Pills, sure. Injectables, that I'm a little worried about.
Yeah.
Okay, so vitamin Super B complex injection, 100 milliliters. I don't know how many injections 100 milliliters is, but $20.
100 milliliters. That's not much.
No, I think this. Oh, I see that. No, this is like 1 or 2 injections. This is like a small single vial.
Yeah, like
100
milliliters.
So it says, okay, what does it got in it?
Like this much.
Yeah, this is literally nothing. 1 injection. Yeah, it's 1 vial basically. Okay, 5 stars, works for energy. I gave this to a rabbit that was in stasis and she perked right up. Okay, so this is like this is like animal drugs. I would like to thank this company for my overall well-being. I'm happier and feeling much better mentally now. Okay, getting the B complex shot from my doctor weekly and paying way too much. I love that I can just administer it myself for cheaper here on Amazon. For cattle, swine, and livestock, not for human use. Keep this away from children. Do not waste your money or time if you don't own a farm animal. Because
whatever, man.
This is like animal grade pharmaceutical. It even says Vet 1 on the bottle.
I've known people to go to Farm Supply and get antibiotics.
It's
to
true.
Get fucking oh crap! I can't remember off the top of my head now, but like
no, you can actually get like
straight up antibiotics. It's pig antibiotics. It's the same stuff. It's still
you can get amoxicillin right from the feed store. Yeah,
that's
it's
the one.
For humans you have to have a prescription, but for like animals you can just go buy that shit at the feed store.
You look up. It's like just a weight chart. Look, there are pigs that are bigger than me. Okay, like literal swine that weigh 1,000 pounds, and they can get this stuff. So you just take less than what they do.
Yeah, and all the dewormer that Trump sold during COVID-19 or whatever, that was all pharmaceutical grade, just animal. I mean, it didn't do nothing for COVID, but it was veterinarian. The only thing that you have to worry about a little bit with the veterinarian shit is it's not held to the same standard as the human stuff. So there can be other compounds and stuff in it that aren't necessarily seen as hurting animals, but you don't know for humans, right? So you got to be careful with that. But no, you're right. Like preppers, I know lots of preppers that go to the feed store and buy the antibiotics and buy all kinds of shit, supplements, grains, like even for they'll go buy like, a 50-pound sack of grain or like cracked corn or whatever to throw in their attic because they can bust that shit open and mix it in water and make stuff out of it. I mean, it's not the greatest stuff in the world, but it's a lot cheaper and easier to get your hands on.
Yep.
Let's see here. I've had some Lipovite injections before. I had one primary care offer it, and they processed my insurance, but my current one won't. Weight loss clinics sell them. Yeah, see, that's the problem is you can get the shit, but you always got to pay for it. Like I tried to get ketamine because I wanted to become Elon Musk and start like hating everybody and everything and being a dick on social media. So I asked him about the ketamine and he was like, it's $500 a month for a series of, I think he said 3 or 4 injections. Like you have to get an injection every week, but it's like $500 a month. And I was like, and he said insurance doesn't cover it. And I was like, fuck. But apparently when administered correctly in the proper doses, through the slow release injections or whatever, ketamine is supposed to be highly, highly good for depression and for anxiety. However, in huge doses, like Elon's taking orally, just popping pills like their goddamn Pez dispenser, it kills your emotions. Like you have no emotion. Like you can't experience guilt, you can't experience remorse, you can't experience regret. Like all those emotions are basically foreign to you. You'll never experience them no matter how bad things get.
So weird.
So that's and the thing is, like, even when you stop the ketamine, It takes a long time for it to come back. Like when you abuse it, it really fucks those emotions for a long time. So if you're wondering why Elon Musk changed so much in the last couple of years, it's literally ketamine abuse. Like you can track it back and look at his posts on X and actually look at the exact point where he said he started ketamine. And then it was literally like not even 6 months after he said it started ketamine. He was saying everybody should take ketamine. It's the most amazing drug in the world. And it was about 6 months after that he started falling off. And then he just went straight down the shitter. You could tell he hit a point where he was like so stressed. He was just popping that shit like candy. And you go look at like you go through like every symptom for ketamine abuse, and it's like you can just look at any picture of him and like verify any video of him talking for 30 seconds. You're like, yep, reduced intellect, difficulty understanding simple concepts. Like there's like you go down the list, you're like, oh my god, dude, no empathy for anybody. Like just like, you know, that's why he could cheat with like 3 different girls at the same time that were all having his babies and like not give a shit. It's like just no empathy. You just do anything. So ketamine is a little bit of a slippery slope. You want to make sure it's administered by a professional, and you got to make sure that the dosage is correct and that you're monitored also psychologically. So like when you get ketamine injections, they ask you questions when you come in for the injections. They make sure that your mental health is good. They make sure you're not having suicidal thoughts. They make sure you're not doing anything trying to take over a country or destroy democracy. And before they give you your next dose, and then they dial it back if you start showing any of those symptoms. They're like, how many women have you impregnated this week? And you're like, 4. And they're like, all right, we're going to back off your dose by about 50%, brother. Let's hear. He could care less if his followers get left holding the bag. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give. Oh, look at this wiener dog. Dude, you can't be happy. You cannot be happy seeing a wiener dog. Seriously.
Well, my wiener dog's not too happy.
Is
right
it a Dachshund? Like, what's the breed? Is Dachshund or something? Or
no, this is a mini dachshund.
He's a mini dachshund. Okay.
Cream.
Oh, dachshund. By the way, those are the most.
He's all legit and stuff. He's got papers.
So those are the most robust dogs ever. You can run over those with a 1976 Ford Courier, and they're fine, totally fine.
Don't do that though.
No, did I ever tell you the story? How I accidentally ran over one.
Good dog. He's a good dog.
I accidentally ran over, like driving to my grandma's house. I actually ran over the neighbor's dachshund. He ran out in the room, and I'm like, clunk, 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 hit him with both wheels. I was like, oh God, I killed the dog. And I look at my rearview mirror, and he's like running back home. I'm like, no way, I killed him. He's got to be dead. I was like, he has to. But the Ford Courier is a pretty light truck. Like me and my dad could lift up the side of the truck and put it on blocks to change the brakes. So luckily it wasn't a very heavy truck. But I went and asked the neighbors. I was like, I knocked on their door, and I felt so bad. I was almost in tears. I was like, oh my God, because I saw the dog run through the doggy door. And I was like, oh my God, I just ran over your dog. You know what they said to me? They said, oh, people hit him all the time. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he's like, yeah, he gets hit and knocked around all the time. He'll be fine. And he was just like sitting back there. And I was like, oh, can I see him or whatever? He's just sitting over there in his little doggy bed, licking his wounds. He'll be fine. I was like, you don't care that I ran your dog over? It was the weirdest shit. Like after that, I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was like, dude, your dog gets run over all the time and you just let him still run outside around the neighborhood? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys? Are you trying to get him killed? But I could not believe that I actually ran over a fucking dog, and he was like, okay. Like, he didn't appear to have any, like, he was sitting in his bed when they opened the door behind him. He just ran in the door and went and got in his bed, and he was just sitting there licking himself. And I was like, are you sure? Like, check him out. And I told him, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. If he has anything broken or any problems show up, here's my number. Please call me. I will pay the vet bills. I felt so bad. I felt fucking terrible. Plus it was my grandma's neighbors. So it's not like they wouldn't know how to find me, right? They've seen my truck there a million times. They know who I am. So not to say I would run away otherwise, but I felt super bad. I was like, God damn it, man. Aww. I was like, I felt so bad running this little dog over. He was old too. Like he was not a young dog. And they're like, yeah, no, he takes it like a champ. I'm like, how many, I didn't ask him, but I'm like, how many fucking times has he been hit for you to open the door and be like, nah, he gets hit all the time. He's fine. He's okay.
So Bear Williams said they can have back issues that are being elongated. Yes. I think though, that people over baby their now maybe I think that was probably more of an issue for like standard dachshunds, but when we were looking into getting this is a mini guy. Well, he's kind of on the
is that like a purebred issue? Like I know some purebreds have weird issues like that. So
look, dachshunds were bred to hunt like foxes and badgers and shit. They're hunter dogs.
I didn't know that.
It literally translates to badger dog.
Oh,
dachshund, right? And so they're long like that, and you can even tell like on my other one, Yoshi, like the way his face is shaped, it's meant to be like to the ground. Like when he puts his head down, his nose and mouth line up perfectly with the ground. And I think what's happened is they've become like lap dogs. They've become like just little wimpy baby pussy dogs. And so that's how they end up getting back problems. Like we were told, oh, you know,
you got to run over them with a Ford Courier a couple times a week. It'll crank them right up.
Yeah, like, oh, be careful having them go up and down the stairs, and you know, blah blah blah. Was what one of the breeder for Yoshi, the smaller guy. You might have seen. He's dark colored one. Oh, you know, you got to be careful, blah blah blah. When we were getting Winston, the gold one here, this couple, like they breed these long-haired creams. That's like their thing. Her husband does something up in Alaska or something, but like their major side hustle is breeding these, and they're like, nah, man. Let them get used to that. Let them exercise and stuff. Like, don't let them jump off of high stuff. Like, it's that eventually the crashing and stuff will hurt their shoulders and arms,
because they just don't have the range of motion to suck it up, right?
Well, and just the muscle, like 15 pounds of dog banging down on their shoulders over. Imagine jumping out instead of coming out of your front door, you jumped out your second story window to get into your car every single day. Like, that's just gonna mess you up. He just got neutered, so I think he's hurting right now. That's why he's being.
Oh, he's got his little nuts cut.
I'll get you your drugs in 10 minutes, buddy. I think this is him saying, "Hey, man, my nuts fucking hurt right now, bro."
I feel bad spaying and neutering. I really do, man. Because I'm like, I don't want to lose my nuts, but I get it. If you don't, they hump everything in the house and get all aggressive.
So when he was younger, we didn't let him run. Like sprint hardcore for long distances, because that can like kind of get start bad stuff on their joints.
So freaking cute, dude. Look at him. He wants your attention so bad.
I love you, buddy. But
that's the cutest thing ever. I fucking love it.
They're telling, so the breeder for him, they're like, nah, we let him run up and down we let all our dachshunds run up and down the stairs and stuff. Never had a problem. Some of them are 20, 22 years old, and like they got a ramp to get them up to the couch so that they're not jumping and that impacting. That's bad. But like letting them run up and down the stairs is fine. Letting them run after about a year, they like, you want them to be full grown before they run like long distances. But man, and I think that goes for other dogs too. Like, let them build up the muscles. Like, dude's probably got a fucking 8-pack under all the fur from the way that they've got to like hop up the stairs and stuff. He's gonna be fine. But yeah, I think the back problems is because they end up babying their dogs too much. They don't let them build up muscles.
Well, that's what I was just talking about earlier. Humans have the same problem, right? It's like when your humans degrade, you take more damage. Yeah. Everything gives you more damage because you don't have the range. Like if you're jumping down, like having weight also puts that weight on the joints, but not having the muscle to decelerate that joint to where you're having to jar yourself at the end of your motion, you're gonna fuck your joints up bad.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
You're supposed to be able to, like, the more muscle you have, the more control you have over decelerating yourself, and the more control you have, the less damage you're going to take. But like one of my biggest problems with weight is going up and down stairs. That fucks your knees up so bad when you're like 400 plus pounds. It's like fucking it sucks. And the weird thing is, I can go up. It hurts like hell, but I can go up and down the stairs like super fast if I have to. Like if it's an emergency, fucking watch me. Right, you put a hamburger at the top of them stairs, I will fucking go up at like record time. I mean, I'll hurt myself really bad, but I can do it right in an emergency. And so it's weird because I can do it the way, but man, my joints pay the price.
Yeah.
Like you feel it. You don't feel it in your muscles. You don't feel it in like you feel it in the joint. Like the actual joint hurts. And I noticed that before I never had that problem, even though I've been heavy my whole life. Like to be honest, like the weight I sat at for most of my life was right around about 260, 280. That was like where I spent most of my adult life. The lowest I ever got was about 215. And the highest is where I'm at right now. Well, actually, I'm not at my highest, but it's like I think I'm at 410 or 411. My highest was 414, which is just insane. Like trust me, I'm not oblivious to how much 400 pounds is. I'm like, God, fucking damn, dude, fucking simmer down, step away. but I can still move, and that's the thing is like I can still move if I have to. It's just painful because of that goddamn nerve. But if I could get the muscles built back up. Dude, I'd do anything to take keto back. Keto fucked me so bad. Like, I am so mad that my doctors fucking put me on hardcore keto. Like, a nutritionist was involved, too. They all fucking agreed, put me on keto. I'm losing weight, hand over fist. They're like, stay the course, even though I'm telling them it hurts like fucking hell and I'm dying. They're like, no, That's normal. You'll adjust to it. Just keep going. And then in the end, after my joints are completely fucking roached and they like x-ray me and they're like, oh shit, dude, you got like fucking severe arthritis everywhere now. They're like, oh shit, we didn't know you had gout. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like on my medication list. I take fucking allopurinol for this shit. And they're like, oh, with keto, you got to like triple the dose of the allopurinol. I'm like, you didn't tell me that. You didn't give me any prescription. So I'm like, I lost 60 pounds, fucked all my joints, hurt myself so bad that I was like bedridden for like 6 months, gained like 100 and some pounds. It fucking sucks. Like, seriously, it's a good thing I'm not the litigious type because I would have sued the fuck out of them for that overlooking that. Hey, Martin, thank you so much, dude, bro. You know what? That deserves, even though I'm fat and my back hurts, that deserves,
oh, shit.
Yeah. Just kidding. Can't do that on YouTube. He said, enjoy some British pounds. This is one of the best shows online. Stay safe. I appreciate it, Martin. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. Putch said he's also sprinted upstairs for emergency burgers. Oh, my God, dude. Let's hear. Bear says, my only problem with stairs is the neuropathy in my legs makes transitioning from one leg to another wonky and unstable for me. Dude, neuropathy fucking sucks. Oh, my God. It's where you get nerve burning in your extremities. It happens to me every morning. I wake up, I have severe neuropathy in my what's this big muscle on the front here of your hip? What the fuck, man?
The hip flexors?
No, the one that's right on the front of your leg, like the top of your leg, the quad. So my quads have severe neuropathy every morning I wake up. So like literally, it feels like this intense burning, stinging sensation in my legs, and I can't move them. Like they don't respond to like movements. I have to sit there and work them and roll back and forth. And then I don't know if it simmers down, like blood flows back into it or what the deal is, but man, it burns really bad. And I also get neuropathy in my hands. If I play a video game too long or I move a mouse or I use the keyboard too long, the tips of my fingers start burning. Like it literally feels like little razor blades are being stuck into it. And it fucking sucks. And it's really common with people that have diabetes, but I don't have diabetes. And I don't have the extremities aren't like changing color and looking like they're going to fall off and shit like diabetes does when you get neuropathy. My neuropathy comes from pinched nerves. Over time, if I don't continuously change my position and move and, fucking pray to the gods or whatever, the nerves get pinched. And then once they get pinched, I have the neuropathy. And then once I have the neuropathy, that just decides how long it wants to hang around until it goes away. But the fastest way to make it go away is to stand up and move, which is the hardest thing to do when you have neuropathy.
Yeah, right. It hurts to get up. It hurts to move.
Fucking hurts, but you have. Yeah, that's the thing. It's the chicken and egg.
Shit, man. Yeah, it sucks.
But I eventually hit a point where I'm like, God damn, I have to piss. Like I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I'm gonna piss myself if I don't get up. So then I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take the pain. So I roll over and I force myself up on my legs and I'm like, fucking ow, 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 ow. And then I waddle to the bathroom, go take my piss, and then I get up and then I'm like, oh, the neuropathy's starting to go away. But if I just lay in bed and I don't move, I'm like half an hour later, the neuropathy's still burning. So you have to move to like get it to go away. I don't know if that's the same for the Amarta Primal guy in chat, but fuck, dude, neuropathy's no joke, man. Don't fuck around with that.
What y'all think of Game of Thrones? I'm a little into. I stopped after season 1, and because spoilers, they killed Ned Stark. I did not see that coming, and I was pissed about it. But also, I just knew that there's no way I could pay attention. There's too much going on. There's too many people to keep track of. Too many subplots. Too much stuff going on. It's bonkers. And
Murta's a girl. I'm sorry, my bad.
And this is coming from somebody who has listened to at least Brandon Sanderson's books. Okay, he makes these giant. Like the audio books are like 32 hours long. These are monster books. And this guy pumps them out like every year. The guy is a machine when it comes to writing books, and they're amazing. But I think maybe if I had followed the books more, I could have. But the show, I couldn't keep up with. It too much weird going on. Too many characters. Too many subplots. Too many storylines going on. Great overall. I think good storytelling.
Very good storytelling. For the first 7 seasons.
I was genuinely so upset that they killed Ned Stark there at the end that I'm like, fucking Sean Bean, poor guy. But at the same time, like, I was so upset about it that I didn't want to watch anymore.
So I loved it. I binge watched it up to I caught up to the seasons. I think by the time I started watching it, they were already on like season 3 or season 4. Mm-hmm. So I binge watched it all the way up, and then every week my wife and I, like clockwork, the second that episode was out, we watched it. We were just as addicted as everybody else.
Oh, right.
However, I will say that season 8 fucks it. Don't watch season 8. Just end it at season 7. Walk away, be happy. Like, don't Season 8, you can totally tell through the whole thing that, one, it's forced. 2, the writers were just like, we have to wrap up like 10 seasons of shit in one season. And then they just start making really stupid decisions for shock factor, knowing that it's canceled.
They lost the plot, right?
Yeah, they totally lose the plot. It's off in the fucking weeds.
Beyond, right? And so they started to have to make stuff up on their own.
Yeah, it's like there's so much buildup that just ends with like the dumbest shit happening, where it's like you expect like a lot of effort to be put into like the end of these people. Like this is the end of the series, right? Yeah. So you're like expecting the end of these people to be like, boom, explosion, dead. You're like, just everybody's dying. You're like, there's no effort, like all this effort to create these stories for these people. And then they fucking die like instantly. And sometimes it's not even by like the hands of the people that should be killing them to like tidy up the story. It's just like fucking a building falls on them. It's like, I don't know. It really fucked it for me. I did not like season 8 at all. I don't think I hated it as much as like everybody else that like really threw a fit over it, but it did not feel right. Like it totally felt like a whole different set of writers came. Maybe they did. Maybe there was a writer's strike or something in like season 8. They had to have different writers or whatever. But man, they definitely didn't do their homework, because the way they wrap shit up was fucked up. But I will say that like the first 7 seasons are amazing, and like shit like the Red Wedding and stuff, that was just fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like I loved how that show kept me off guard. I love shows that I can't guess what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like they did a really good job of doing that writing, where it's going in a certain direction. You're like, oh shit, this is going to happen. Then it doesn't. Something completely different happens. You're like, what the fuck? I love that about series. Like one of my all-time favorite series is actually 2 is Black Mirror. If you've ever watched the Black Mirror episodes. By the way, there was a season.
That's a good anthology stuff.
I didn't even know the last season came out until just like a week ago, and I binge watched the whole thing. Like 5. They do this weird thing where like every season that comes out is like several years later, and it just randomly comes out, and there's like 5 episodes one season, like 10 episodes another season. Wait, they're like all over the
Black Mirror, right?
Black Mirror.
Yeah, I thought they're not really all that connected. They're supposed to be sort of
no. There's only a couple episodes in the anthology or whatever that like are connect them. But yeah, they're all different stories for the most part. Like with a few exceptions. Yeah,
it was like a Twilight Zone almost.
Very Twilight Zone.
Story is kind of independent.
And I love that.
Great stuff.
Really I love the writing though. The writing is so out there that they make you think one thing and then you completely get it wrong and it's another thing. Like I watched the episode from the final season just last week called Demon 76. Okay. And it starts out as this really dumb episode, and I was like, fucking Black Mirror's slipping. Like, after like 10 minutes, I was like, dude, this is stupid. And it's like an hour. Some of the episodes are like an hour plus. Some of them are only like 30, 40 minutes. But I started watching, and I was like, after about like 15 minutes, I was like, this is really boring, man. They really fucked this up. But then stuff started happening. It started picking up, and it was like, it started to explain why the first half was so boring. And then it really got off in the fucking weeds, and shit started getting really sideways really quick. And the way that it ends completely catches you out. Like you're like, it's wild. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but it's wild. It's worth watching. Like the beginning of it, most people probably just turn it off because it's like so slow. But no, it picks up momentum like a motherfucker. And then the other one I like that's like Black Mirror, but more like a cartoon animated style is Love, Death, and Robots. Have you seen that one, or is it Love, Sex, and Robots? I think it's Love, Sex, and Robots or something like that.
No, not
so
or
good.
Maybe part of it. I think I saw some. It's like there was like an episode where this group of robots are like wandering around the devastated Earth, and they're like looking at different artifacts and stuff, and going to different places on planet Earth after humans are gone. Yeah, I think that was it. I saw that episode or two or something. Yeah,
it's so good. It is so good. And the thing is, like every episode is done in a different animation style. Like some of the episodes even look like full on like Unreal 5 way before Unreal 5. Like where like it looks like the real actors and everything. It's freaking wild. Oh, the USS Callister episode is one of my favorites. If you get a chance, watch that. The USS Callister episode from I think it's Black Mirror season 3. It's either season 3 or season 4, but man, it's great. It's absolutely great. Bandersnatch I didn't like. Bandersnatch was their attempt at choose your own adventure
thing. I like the idea of it. It seemed like that would be cool, but I think maybe if they were trying to get people into choose your own adventure like show, doing a video game wasn't. I get where they're coming from. Like, oh, video gamers are going to understand what we're trying to do here.
I never made it through it. I always made the wrong decisions.
I haven't tried it out. But
I need to go online and find the right. I need to go online, find the right decisions so I can finally finish it. Maybe if I finish it, I'll like it more. But the problem is I kept dying. It sends you all the way back to the beginning. Like you don't get to just do the same thing and then like select the option.
Oh, that's whack.
It kept sending me back and it was driving me fucking nuts.
And I need to finish it. Is called Kaleidoscope. And the thing is
I haven't heard of that.
but like when you watch it, it's not in order, but it's on purpose. Everybody watches they randomize the episodes for everybody.
Is this like Memento, like where it's like shit happens before it does?
It's a heist. They're stealing a bunch of gold or something like that.
Okay.
But I think it's only like 8 episodes, 8 or 10 episodes.
Yep, eight part series.
But the order of them is random for everybody, and they did that because like they wanted people to talk about it and stuff and have theories and whatnot. But everybody's getting information at a different point. And so like the story but I think the final episode is always the same for everybody because it all ties everything together. But
so they like randomize the episodes for different regions.
The episode for I think for every account, the order of the episodes is random.
What?
Except for the first and I think the first and last one are the same for everybody, but the in between ones are mixed up. Because
is this Netflix? Like, is it like a Netflix?
Yeah, it's
thing?
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, Netflix. It's called Kaleidoscope. And I love a heist. I love heist flicks. I love a good robbery. I love not robbery because that implies threats of physical violence, but I'm burglaries and heists and stuff. I don't like a lot of gunplay. I want somebody to be clever, like Ocean's 11 kind of stuff. I love that stuff. And I got to finish it or really just start it over because it's been a while.
So the synopsis is Kaleidoscope is an American heist drama television anthology series created by Eric Garcia. The 8-part series, unique for its shuffled order, which I've never heard of anything like this, so I want to try this.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing.
So they shot it in a way where you can watch every episode out of order, and then everybody sees the last episode, which is obviously them completing the objective or whatever. But because everybody sees it, is it shot out of order too? Like where it doesn't matter what order you watch them in, you learn like the same thing? That's
my understanding is like, is the way the storytelling is done is there's like some flashbacks and there's like, okay, this is like before the heist, or it even tells you, it says like this, it'll like at the beginning, it says like 3 days before the heist. And then, and then you watch that episode and then the next episode, it'll say like 48 hours before the heist. And then
so it just tells you the time frame so that you know if it's before or after what you last watched.
This is in the past. This is, and I think a couple of the episodes are after the heist, or part of the episode is after the heist, or something like that.
So for them to do this, you have to like click and watch an episode. It won't let you go to the next episode unless you watch.
I think you could probably bring up the list and watch them in order if you want, but if you just let it play, it's random. Right. And that's how they wanted you to do it.
Well, no, I want to do it that. I want to experience the way it was meant to be experienced. Just let it go. For sure.
I think as soon as you load up the show, maybe the episodes are already. I didn't look.
Says right here, all 8 episodes can be watched in any order. It says an introduction black explains the show's concept, and then the episodes are listed here in the order listed on Netflix Tudum page. I think it shows the order they're supposed to be in. Okay. To like watch it end to end, but yeah, it says it doesn't matter what order you watch the show, and it's designed to be understood.
Part of the gimmick. It was part of the gimmick was that everybody who watches the show is going to get them in a random order, except for the last episode.
I didn't even know Netflix could do this,
and it is a good heist story. I think I'm only 1 or 2 episodes off from the end, 2 or 3 maybe.
Oh, we're gonna watch
I'll probably start all over. I'll probably start all over it. But man,
I've never even seen this show up when I go in, and this is like English, like not dubbed or anything.
Yeah, I think Giancarlo Esposito is in it, and a couple other big names. Yeah, it's a really good heist show.
So check this out. It shows the times of the episodes here. In the order that they said it's currently on Netflix for whoever did this Wikipedia. Oh, yeah, okay. So the first episode they had was one that's 6 weeks before the heist. Then green. They all have names after colors, I guess, like yellow, green, blue, and I guess you start with black and you end with white, but everything else in between is random.
Yeah.
So you get the first. So check this out. 6 weeks before that, 7 years before the heist. So there's an episode 7 years before this heist happens.
Yeah.
And then 5 days before the heist. So you go from 6 weeks before to 7 years before to 5 days before to 3 weeks before to 24 years before.
Yeah, because there's stuff that happens. Because I remember there's like there's history between a couple of the people involved in the heist and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it spans 24 years. The series spans 24 years.
Because like technically, I think it's like 24 years ago is when like the mastermind like
this
gets
is wild.
inspired to do the heist, and then like 7 years something happens with one of the other people that's like connected to the mastermind. It is really very clever. It is really very clever, and I highly recommend it. And
No,
I haven't even
watch
finished.
this. I'm gonna watch it.
Finished, but it's really good.
Dude, this is
Reacher's always
dude.
good.
Oh, I like Reacher. I like
Reacher's
Reacher a lot.
freaking amazing.
What was the one? Oh God, I just watched a movie a couple of actually it was probably a couple of months ago. But it's like this black dude riding a bike into town and the cops hit him and they fucking drum up charges. What was that called?
Something Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge or something? No, not Hacksaw.
Damn it. That's on Netflix. That was a good one too.
That was so good, man.
Really good about police corruption and stuff like that.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It's called Rebel Ridge.
That's the one.
So Rebel Ridge, I watched it. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it was so good. That guy is amazing in that role.
The ending might upset some people, but
it upsets everybody. I threw shit at the TV. I was mad.
Good.
I was very mad.
Very good. And I want to see more from that guy. Like,
apparently
he's a great actor.
So I heard a rumor they're supposed to have a sequel to this. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that the reason they didn't wrap it up at the end wasn't just to piss everybody off. It was to leave it on a cliffhanger, so you had to come back. To figure out what happened. Because, dude, all I'll say is by the end, you want all these people to die.
Yeah.
Like, you want all these corrupt motherfucking cops to just take a bullet to the head. This is how bad this series makes you angry after watching it. And then at the end, they don't show you anything that happens to any of them.
Yeah, there's no prologue.
All he does is like get some evidence and he gets into a hospital and he's like holding the evidence and that's it. You don't know if they came in and shot him. You don't know if they stole the evidence back. You have no idea what's happening. It sucks.
The Recruit is good. And The Night Agent is also good. If you're into more like spy, thrillery, FBI, sneaky guy. The Recruit is a little bit funny. And a little bit... I
want to say I've seen that before.
It's not really serious. It's not super serious, but still good like spy stuff.
Let me see. Oh, I've never seen that. That's a Netflix series
cool.
too. Okay.
The main character is a lawyer for the CIA. Like his job is to like make sure that the spies and stuff are doing stuff technically legally, but then he gets wrapped up into these crazy conspiracy stuff. It's really, and it's like I said, it's a little funny. There's some humor to it, but then it's good spy stuff and like thrillery. Whereas The Night Agent is a little more serious and still kind of spy stuff. That's another good one on Netflix.
What was dude? It's so funny talking about all these shit. Obliterated. Have you seen Obliterated?
I started getting into it. I think I got to the second episode and I felt. That's a funny one too. That was really good,
bro. It goes so far off the reservation.
Oh, nice.
The more you watch it, dude, you are gonna lose your shit. Like if you think the first couple episodes are crazy, it goes so much worse.
So for anybody, Obliterated, it's like a crew of operators or whatever, right? Like
these are like mercenaries that are hired to go do like
kind of guys.
18.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the first episode they just finished. They're wrapping up a mission, like they win. They find the nuke or whatever it is, and like they celebrate, they party hard. They're in Vegas.
I mean, they're partying hard, like hardcore drugs, shrooms, alcohol, everything.
And the next day, they find out that like the mission isn't actually done. Like what the nuke they got or whatever it is was fake, and so they gotta rush and like actually, but they're all fucked up from partying so hard.
But they don't want to tell them. They don't want to tell the office that. So they're like, "No, we're good to go, sir. We're good to go." And they're like massively hungover and fucked up. Their bomb tech is like so high on drugs that he's just like wandering around Vegas. They can't find him. It gets crazy though. Like by the end, you're just like, "What the hell's happening?" And then when they wrap it up at the end, you're gonna be like, "What the hell just happened?" Like it's wild. It is a wild ride, man.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I got to wrap it up though, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. I got to do the same. I haven't slept yet, so I'm gonna go crawl in the bed and take myself a little napperoo.
Right on.
You guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us this Tech Talk. You guys have been amazing. I got some movies to watch. That's fantastic. I always love that.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Michael R. Media. Mr. Martin, thank you for being the huge tip of the day, the $64.7 USD, because he gave us the pounderoonies.
That's right.
Histario, Michael, Tech Chef, Histario, Ian, Michael R. Media. You guys are all awesome. Daniel Frost, Thomas Lind. I love y'all. Thank you so much for helping us out. We appreciate you, and I will see you again on Monday on Twitch, is what I'm shooting for.
You better.
Dude, I got it. I've been really, really having a hard time with that. I gotta get it back. I'm gonna gamify shit. You don't worry about it. I'll do it. All right, you get the hell out of here, man. I'll be right behind you. Trust me. I'm not going to be staying very long after this one.
I'm AuxxZillary everywhere. Follow me and stuff. Okay, bye.
Peace out, brother. he's like, get the fuck out. Dude, the only reason, usually he gets out like right on time. He stayed an extra 14 minutes because he was enjoying talking about movies and shit. I love it. I love it, dude. Dude, these are some good movies, man. This is like stuff I didn't even know was on Netflix. What was the, Obliterated. Putch 44, it's called Obliterated. I think it's, let's hear, Obliterated. I don't even know if I'm spelling it right. It's called Obliterated. It's really good. It's really, you have to watch it though. Like the first episode gets crazy. Second episode gets like heavily into the mission. Shit just starts going really, everything goes wrong. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And somehow in the end, it still works out right, but just by like stupid fucking happen chance. And literally everything gets saved by like drugs. Like the end of the story is like, you know, if you're going to go on a mission and save the world, you need to be like just drunk and super high on drugs because it'll ultimately lead to you somehow completing the mission without even trying because you were like hallucinating. It's a wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Shades of Blue is a good cop show with Jennifer Lopez and Ray Liotta. How old is that show? I haven't seen Ray Liotta in forever, man. Let's see here. Have I had time to test the 9950X 3D and what do you think? Oh, that was the AuxxZillary. I was going to say, I haven't tested it. Lost Space, they said, you would be proud. I made plans to go protesting in a few weeks. Dude, I'm so proud of you. I wish I could get out there, man, on the front. But then again, I'm in Washington, so we're already, the majority of Washington is already against all the shit that's happening right now. But I'm going to do everybody a favor and for once not go off on a huge political tangent at the end of a tech talk and just let her end naturally, and we'll save that for Twitch on Monday. I'm sure there'll be lots more to talk about because, like, Trump wants to fucking kill the media and make it illegal to report anything that he doesn't approve of, and he wants to kill the First Amendment. And he's saying all kinds of really, really stupid shit that is literally straight up treason. But Meg is indoctrinated, and they just believe whatever he says. If he tells them to believe one thing and the next day tell them to believe the exact opposite and forget what he said the previous day, they just do it, no questions asked. You know, it's literally the same thing as like fucking Joseph Smith and Hitler and the Nazis and shit. It's like people are so indoctrinated. They don't do any research. They don't want to do any research. They just want to believe whatever the person's telling them at any time, even if they know in their heart it isn't true. They're just like, winning. That's what winning is. And winning is all that matters. He somehow turned everything into a football game to these guys. So it is what it is, but we're not going to let it happen easily. That's for damn sure. You guys are awesome though. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week. We really do appreciate it. And since I haven't slept since yesterday, I think I'm going to go crawl into bed. I think Miss Barnacules sleep. She stayed up with me too. Miss Barnacules did not go to sleep last night. She was so damn tired this morning, but she insisted on staying up to get me a bowl of cereal and a coffee to get me ready for Tech Talk. So she's downstairs sleeping right now. So I think I'm going to go slide into bed with her, you know, go slide into her DMs and get a little bit of sleep. The Boys is awesome. Yeah, if you haven't seen The Boys on Amazon Prime, definitely worth watching. Definitely worth watching. If you can handle the gore, it's a very gory show, just FYI. Also, so is Obliterated. So if you're going to watch Obliterated, just be aware you're going to see penises, you're going to see breastises, you're going to see a lot of nudity, and actually some of the nudity you're going to see is going to be in some really scary, weird, messed up situations. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but yeah, shit gets really wild in that show. Definitely not wanting to watch. You don't want to watch that with kids looming around. Retro My Bit said she's a dream. Take care of yourself. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your family. 100%. I do everything for my family, man. That's all that matters. That's the one thing that motivates me above everything. Even if I feel like I'm knocking on death's door, man, I just think of my family, and that gets me moving. Some days I can't move more than I want to, but you know, I can't move as much as I want to, but I can move some. So I'm gonna keep on moving. This is like big old tiggle bitties. Get them tiggle bitties. Bye, Jerry. Hope your sleep is better and your pain is gone. Oh, dude, I appreciate it, Pele. You're awesome, man. I appreciate you so much. I love that you and Putch 44 every single week you guys are here, man. We have all the regulars. Gaming Maddie rocks. Ben Husky, Martin. Damn, you guys are like clockwork. You guys are here. I love it. You know, I may not be as big as I once was, but I was once as big as I ever was, and you guys sure prove that because you guys show up in force. Daniel Frost. It's like you guys are the regulars for so long that it's like I know all your names. Hey, Joe Taji, thank you for the $10 there at the end of the show. I appreciate it, brother. Said go get some rest. All right, All right, I'll get some rest. Retro my bits, thank you. I appreciate it, man. The Legion said The Boys is amazing and the gore adds to the feeling towards the show. Oh, dude, it wouldn't work without the gore. You have to have the gore. I know it's so hard to catch me on Twitch. I know Dr. Durs, mainly because I just haven't been streaming that much. But I'm going to try to stream during the day. So Dr. Durs, if you've been missing the streams because they're so late at night, I'm trying to get back onto sleep schedule where I can start doing them during the day. So hopefully we can get that dialed in this week. I've been trying for a couple of weeks with no success, but I feel a little bit more motivated now. But I'll try to mix up the time zones a little bit so that more people can catch me at different times and stuff. Did the subject of AI come up? Yeah, we talked about AI in the context of being a therapist earlier. But I'm going to be honest. The title of the show was created by AI. That was what was funny. Is like I told AI to create a title for a tech podcast where we frequently talk about AI that is hella clickbaity, and that's what it came up with. So you guys got clickbaited by which AI was it? It was DeepSeek. You can thank DeepSeek for the title. But for you AI shenanigan fanatics out there, because we do love AI. Like, I mean, it's bittersweet because I think AI is honestly going to end humanity. It's gonna pick up where nukes ended and bury us 6 feet under. In the long run, but until we get there, it's a great help and it's a lot of fun to use. And before it replaces every single one of our jobs and destroys our lives, it is fun to use and does make things a little easier for life. So I've been playing around with LM Studio, DeepSeek smaller model running locally on my GPU and 24 gigs of VRAM on RTX 4090. Runs really good. Not quite as accurate as the bigger models, like obviously like the 400 plus gigabyte models and the quantized, like I think it's 128 gig model for DeepSeek R1 is a lot better and a lot more accurate. But to run that locally, you need a machine with, probably at least not even 120, you need more than that, like 256 gigs of RAM. Warp is fun, but warp can also be really dangerous. I played around with warp and I kind of fucked around and found out. Hey, Michael R. Media, thank you for the $2, dude. It's a great show today. It was a ton of fun. Love you. Oh, thank you, man. Right back at you. So warp.dev, I believe is the site, warp.dev, is a replacement shell for Windows that basically takes PowerShell and enables it with AI. So you just tell it what you want in English, and it writes the PowerShell scripts and the Python scripts and installs the things and executes the things. It just does everything for you. So you basically, it's like the first LCARs for Windows, right? Where you just talk to it, tell it what you want it to do, and it magically combobulates the things. And it gets things more right often than wrong. I even did some complicated things like find all of the images on my hard drive with a picture of a human face in it. And it wrote a Python script that did it, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, it wasn't the greatest. It was using like open source libraries that had weights that just weren't tuned very good. So it did pick up some faces of other things like cats and monkeys and shit. But it did do what I asked it to. It's called Warp. So Warp, here, let me get it here. Warp.dev. Sadly, it doesn't work with local AIs, though. So you do have to use their AIs. And they're just hosting like AIs you could normally run, like Claude and DeepSeek. And I think OpenAI, either O1 or GPT-4o. And you have to use their cloud thing unless you're an enterprise user. If you pay them and you're an enterprise user, then they let you use your own local LLM using OpenAI API. But it sucks that they don't give that to everybody. Like, I think it's stupid that you have to contact them to be an enterprise customer, negotiate, your payment per seats or whatever. Then you can use a local LLM where they can't steal all your shit, right? Because ultimately, everything that it's writing and everything you're asking it to do is being sent to the cloud. And even though they say that they're keeping your privacy and everything, no. Anything you're sending up to the cloud, you can't assume that it's safe in any way, shape, or form. Like, you have to assume that they're using that shit to train or will at some point. It's going into a database for them to process it and give you an answer back. And that means that later on, they'll be able to access it because they don't delete shit. How much is it to use? I want to say it's free for 200 commands a month, or you can get 1,000 commands a month for $15. So realistic, it's better to just create like 20 accounts and just change the account if you run out of requests per month. just have 20. Just create 5 accounts and switch between them, and then it's basically free. Like, so. Let's hear. Is it feasible to build an AI machine for an average person such as ourselves with a price of 10 to 15K? Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, easily. As a matter of fact, you can do it a lot cheaper than that. You can go find, go grab yourself a bunch of old, actually, here, I'm going to go take a piss really quick and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I want to answer that question. Ugh. That coffee made me have to pee. Oh boy, I'm pissing orange. I need to drink a lot more water today. So yeah, no, to answer your question, if you want to create your own local AI inference machine, you could either go buy a bunch of Mac Studios and link them together with, I think it's 10, is it 10 gig Ethernet or 2.5 gig Ethernet? Network Chuck did a video on it on his YouTube channel. That's one way that you could do it, and that's probably going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 grand to create a machine that can load like those giant models, like the cloud models, and actually run them at a fairly decent speed. Or you can go build a server, probably be cheaper, honestly. Build a server, go get a bunch of old Quattro cards that have like 16 or 24 gigabytes of VRAM, and the old Quattro cards can still do NVLink. And I think you can do memory pooling on the, if I remember right, you can do memory pooling with the old Quadra cards. So you can basically take and stack the memory, load the model, and have, it's not going to be like super, super fast, because these are probably going to be, if you want to get them for a decent price, they're going to be the older versions, like, you know, probably like, you know, 20X series, or maybe even 10X or 10X series, like a Titan XP kind of thing. Just get one Mac Studio with 500. Wait, can you get a Mac Studio with 512 gigs or what? I thought the Mac Studio was limited in how much RAM it could have, since it has to be built onto the CPU. Like, you can't just put chips in it. I don't know. Let me look here. I honestly don't know. What is the max mem of a Mac Studio? Holy shit, the Mac Studio with M3 Ultra supports up to 512 gigs of unified memory? What? Seriously? How much does this thing cost? Why in the fuck was Network Chuck using a cluster when he could have just bought one of these? Because this would be way faster. Like, by having to break up the LLM lookup workload across Ethernet, it slows things down dramatically. Being able to run it on one system would make it like many, many times faster. This is wild. How much is one of these things? So the Mac Studio starts at $2,000. Here, let me go to, I got to look at this. Okay, so I want to build a Mac Studio. These are the ones that have the M2 processors in them. So scroll down. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Here, I'd like to configure it. Let me buy it. Okay, so Mac Studio, Mac Pro, Mac Mini. Okay, I want to buy a Mac Studio. I'm not actually buying it. I'm super broke, so that's not happening. But I want to see how much it is with 512 gig of RAM. I mean, this is, if you can get 512 gigs of unified memory, that basically means that the GPU and the CPU built into the chip all access that memory at basically the speed of cache. So that memory is basically equivalent to VRAM. A little bit slower, but way faster than like DDR5, as I understand it. Hey, what's up, Eggplant? How's it going? So I am curious. Oh, now, okay, so Apple's site wasn't loading. Oh, now it's loading. Okay. So $4,000 gets you 96 gigabytes. So, and that's for the M3 Ultra. All right, let me select that one. I want more memory. 250. Oh, 512 isn't selectable. says 512 is available with the M3 Ultra chip. Oh, you have to have the 80 core GPU. Okay, so add $1,500 for the 80 core GPU. $4,000 for 512 gigs of unified memory. My God. Oh, but still 10 grand. There you go. I mean, that's still cheaper than the cluster I think Chuck was running. I think Network Chuck was running the, was it like 4 or 5 of the smaller 96 gigabyte systems? Oh, it has a 10 gigabyte Ethernet port. Okay, so he was using 10 gig between them. So there you go. 10 grand right there. So here, let me see. I'll give you guys a link. It's not an affiliate link. I just want you guys to see the price. So in CPU, 80 core GPU, 32 core neural engine, and this is the M3 generation Ultra. So their fastest chip, 512 gigs of unified memory. That's just insane. A half a terabyte of RAM built into the CPU. Like, this isn't like memory added into the bus like a conventional PC. This is like the equivalent of your GPU's VRAM, but it's being used by the CPU and the GPU. So all the RAM in the system is just super fast VRAM basically. And that's why it's $4,000 for half a gig instead of like $1,500 like DDR5, right? Let's see. Oh, and that's only with a 1 terabyte SSD. So if you want like a 2 terabyte SSD, you got to add another $400. A 4 terabyte SSD, you got to add $1,000. I don't know if you can add those yourself or if those SSDs are like fucking soldered onto the motherboard. You never know with Apple. I honestly don't know. But if you can install your own SSDs, I would forego buying theirs because $400 for a 2 terabyte SSD upgrade is ridiculous. Like you fucking buy an 8 terabyte drive for a fucking 10 terabyte SSD for like $400. You'd rather get 128 gigabyte AMD 395 AI Max for $2,000, assuming AMD updates the drivers. The latest AI drivers for the 7000 series. Wait a second, AMD has a 128 gigabyte card? Seriously? I didn't know that. The problem with AMD, though, and this is a fairly significant problem with AMD, is that most of the AI software loads that I run that utilize like Python and PyTorch and stuff, they're all super heavily dependent on CUDA. So AMD can run, like there are some, like LM Studio does support AMD graphics card acceleration. I think Ollama does too. But a lot of the AI projects on GitHub outside of the typical LLM engines, they seem to be heavily optimized for CUDA. But the problem with CUDA is unless you get into the Quadro cards, you really don't go over 20 gig. And so, like, with a consumer card, the 4090 or the 5090, you're only going to have, 24 gig or 32 gig, I think, if it's a 50 series. So, Dab said, Jerry, have you ever thought about having other tech people on the show like Network Chuck? I have before, but I just like having the guys on here, At some point, I might change it up, but I like just having AuxxZillary and David popping in. But you know what? There's no reason we can't have other guests, like as a third person coming in. I just got to talk to Aux about it, and we both have to agree on it and pick a time and stuff like that. I don't think Network Chuck would want to be on here though. Network Chuck operates on a whole nother echelon. Like now, back when I was at my prime, oh hell yeah, he'd probably be on here in a heartbeat. But I don't really have anything to offer him because I'm so much of a smaller creator these days. But you never know. Can you get a new AMD APU with high RAM? I want to look this up. What is this 128 gig AMD 395 AI Max for $2,000? How do you get a fucking $2,000 CPU with 128 gigs of RAM? Okay, so here it is. So it's the Strix Halo APU. Oh, okay, wait. This is like a mini PC, right? Oh, okay. This isn't a GPU. This is like an all-in-one. Okay, so AMD Ryzen AI Max 395 APU tested in the new mini PC. Wait a second. Is this the little unit that's running? This thing's like designed specifically for running LLMs, correct? Is that why it's the AI Max? Because I know that there's like a whole market now for these little these little fully built like things that just run LLMs. They're literally tuned and built for running LLMs and nothing else. A lot of people use them integrated with like their home security systems to do like, AI inspection of images from their cameras and stuff like that. Nvidia GPU with high RAM is like 20K. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. The Nvidia GPUs with a lot of RAM are super expensive, like because you have to go into the professional series if you want more than 32 gigs. Pre-order on Framework, it's a mini desktop. Oh yeah, I saw their mini desktop. What's the max RAM on that one? On the Framework, and isn't that that's an ARM, right? Aren't they using ARM architecture on that and not x64? It has 32 CU or 40 CU. What is the max RAM that it can have for the GPU? So wait a second. So this thing, let me look at this. Okay, so on the PCB itself, it has dual M2 slots. It has the Strix Halo APU with the Ryzen AI Max 395 APU is attached to the base plate with 3 copper heat pipes driven into a large heat sink. Oh, 96 gig? That's decent. You could load a lot of models with 96 gig. You're still not going to load the like full-size, quantized like DeepSeek R1. But you might be able to load Claude. Let me see here. AMD has interesting variable memory functions for graphics, allowing the integrated RDNA 3.5 based Radeon 8060S GPU to use system memory. So basically, it looks like it has the one that I just linked has a 128 gigabyte pool of RAM that's DDR5 that is shared with the GPU. So like instead of the GPU having its own VRAM, it's kind of like the unified RAM in the Mac, except for it's using DDR5 instead of like faster VRAM. I wonder how fast this thing does inference. I'm gonna have to watch some videos on this. I didn't even know this thing existed until you mentioned it. This little AMD Ryzen AI Max 395. This is interesting. It's also really, it's not very big. This thing's pretty small. So tested with new mini PC. Features 16 cores, 32 threads, Zen 5 CPU, RDNA 3.5 based Radeon 8060S GPU, and supports up to 120 gigabytes of LP DDR5 memory. And it offers extensive I/O options. The APU and entering shows the BIOS issue affecting power consumption and GPU clock speeds. Okay, so it looks like they're still working some kinks out of it. I mean, this looks super interesting for the price. I'll have to look at how the Framework stacks up. Is the Framework using like separate DDR5 or is it integrated memory into the APU kind of like the M3 does? Let's hear. Ian said you can get a used Supermicro Mobo for 7XX2 AMD CPU and 512 gigs of RAM used from eBay for $1,000. That's actually not a bad way to go. And just do CPU inference. I mean, it's going to be actually 8 to 10 tokens a second. Wait, which model, Ian? Because I mean, if it can do CPU inference with 512 gigs of like conventional system RAM and get 8 to 10 tokens a second with a large model like quantized DeepSeek R1, that would be insane. Like 8 to 10 tokens a second is like perfectly acceptable. I mean, that's not bad at all. Damn, really? Okay, I gotta look this up. Supermicro Mobile with a 7XX2 AMD CPU. XX meaning like anything in that family, or is it really the 7XX2? Because I don't know anything about AMD designations. 512 gigs of RAM for $1,000. This is kind of making me wonder. I wonder what my server could. How much memory does my server have? So I have one computer that has 128 gigs of memory. It's my old workstation. I should fire that up and do just CPU inference in LM Studio. Because I know LM Studio does something where it can do CPU and GPU. It can utilize both resources for inference. But whenever you select anything from CPU, it slows everything down. But I'd imagine, I don't know, I'm going to play with that. Because it sounds like inference is getting a lot faster than last time I screwed with it on CPU. Because last time I tried to do CPU inference, I was getting like 1 token a second. It was 1 or 2 tokens a second. Like it was unbearable. You'd have to go make dinner and come back to get an answer to your question. And that's not great. Okay, so $1,600 for the 32 CU, 64 for 128 gigabyte, 40 CPU is $2,000. Actually, the $1,100 is a decent deal as it has 32 CU for gaming. I love the shit Framework's doing, honestly. I really do. Hey, guys, I'm starting to get pretty punch drunk, and I'm getting hot and cold flashes, so I think my body's telling me I got to shut down. Sorry, I got off on this little AI tangent, but this is cool. I'm actually going to bookmark. Let me bookmark this in my little notes for the show. because I want to look into this a little more, because it looks like these little APU systems that they're building with shitloads of memory are actually getting decent tokens. And not only that, but you could stack, just like with the Mac, you could install Linux on these, stack the systems together using their using like 10 gig Ethernet, or I guess in this case it'd be 2.5 on this last system. But you could actually cluster these together and run, I can't remember the name of the program, Network Chuck just did a video on it, but you could cluster these systems together and shit with like 128 gig per system. You get like 3 of these little APUs or whatever and stack them together. You'd have yourself a pretty formidable standalone, like you could run these full cloud models. Like you could run Claude, Claude 3.7, which is fantastic for coding. Claude 3.7 Sonnet. You could run DeepSeek R1, like the full cloud models, like get the same level of accuracy is literally paying to use the cloud. That would be wild. All right, I'm going to look into this a little bit more for you guys, because I do want to have a full local model that I can do inference on. So what I might take is my old system with 64 gig of RAM, my other system with 128 gig of RAM, and my server I think has 32 gig out in the garage. I may try to spin those up this week and see if I can't divvy the load up between them for using that inference. I don't think I can, though. I think one of the requirements was all the systems have to be the same. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they might have to be the same since they're sharing the workload, and if you have one that's slow, it's going to bring the others down. But I don't know. I'll look into it, because I am really curious. I know. Amerda's like, I'm going to log off, proceeds to rant for another hour. I swear to God, it's my OCD, man. It's my OCD and ADHD. I used to do the same thing when I was younger, and I was like, no, you hang up. No, hang up. Okay, I got to go. And then I talk for like another 2 hours to like my friends, and I wish I could say girlfriend back then, but let's be honest. I didn't have a girlfriend or see a boobie in real life until I was like 20 years old. So actually, that's not true. I used to play over the haystack with my friends when I was like 13 and 14 over at their house. But no, I never actually touched a boobie until I was like 20 years old and had like my first real girlfriend. And you know what I did? I put a ring on that shit, and I had a kid with her, and I'm still with her today. I'm telling you, that's the way to do it. One and done. All right, guys, I love you. I'm going to go crawl into love. I'm going to go crawl into bed with that wonderful woman right now and get some sleep, because I am fucking exhausted, and I am slurring my speech now. You guys are awesome. I love your faces. I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out. Oh, and in the meantime, if you want to hit me up, just tag me over on X or Blue Sky, or hit me up on Discord in general. Just make sure you tag me. If you tag me, it's easier for me to like see the notification when I finally come around and look at shit. All right. Yeah, AI is exciting. Also really, really scary. We'll talk about that on the Twitch stream on Monday. Why AI is really, really scary and my fears of the future. All right. I think I've covered most of what I wanted to say. All right. Later, guys.